What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Atlanta DJ Zone Tech Tuesday Live. Let me get this. I think this is one thing with the new OBS. The virtual cam is not responding, so I haven't been able to get my camera to respond to it. That's what been trying to. Oh, there we go. Got it. Couldn't get it to respond a while ago. What's going on? What's going on? All right. One more thing I want to do real quick because I got a new toy and I want to swap that out real quick before I get started and also see if you guys notice a difference. I picked up another, and you might not be able to see it because I see right now the video is grainy from the distance that I'm at. I picked up another. Oh, that's not good. I picked up another HDMI capture stick. This one is a USB 3.0 with the HDMI at the end. And this one streams at 1080p at 60 frames. Now, the one that I have, the camera that you see me on right now connected to it, is like this one. This one does USB 2.0, which means you could use them with probably any MacBook. It won't do 1080. Oh, let me go ahead and click this real quick. It won't do 1080 at 60, but it'll do 1080 at 30, or you could do 720 at 60. And I think that's what the resolution that I'm at now is, but I need to change it. Well, I guess it won't make a difference because StreamYard only does 720. So for any of my other videos, if I'm going directly to streaming directly from YouTube, then I can do 1080 at 60. Or a lot of the videos that you see me do, I'll be able to do that if I'm using like OBS or whatever. So this is currently what I have connected now. And I want to swap this one out real quick with what I have. And the reason I stopped using the one like this one, and I don't see it. I got another one, a different one. This one right here. Yeah, I got this one right here. This one was the first one that I got. And this is like the common one that you can see and you can find everywhere, in stores or on Amazon. I guess it's a Chinese based one, and it's one that get reproduced a whole lot. This one does the same as this one, but the reason I replaced this is because this is kind of heavy. And if you have a laptop and you're sticking it into the port, especially with the cable, over time it puts weight onto that port. And depending on if you accidentally bump it or something bumps up against it and lands on top of it, it will break that port right out of socket. And so it won't break it from the solder joints, it'll pull the whole board, that whole portion of the board where it's soldered out, and it can't be fixed, or it's very difficult to fix. What you would have to do, you would have to glue it, and then you would have to run jumpers to where the connection for those pins. And that's not easy to do. It's possible, but it's not easy to do because you have to take the whole board apart and stuff like that. So I went from using this to using the one that I just had in my hand. I said, this, nope, not that one. This one right here, because it has a little extension on it. So when I have it plugged into a port, it can hang down and it doesn't produce that much weight, or I can run it somewhere to where it's not putting a whole lot of strain on that port. But now I'm not using these anymore. I bought 2 of these, which this is the other one. I haven't opened the box yet. Probably won't be able to see it because the light on it. And like I said, I really haven't tested it out. I got another camera that's installed behind this one that I had it plugged up to earlier. And so what I want to do real quick before we start, I want to plug this one up. I want to swap the one that I have this one with, which is like this, with one of these. And what this came with, since it's USB 3.0, it can also be used in Thunderbolt and USB-C with the adapter, which is right here. You got your USB 3.0 right there. Then you got your USB-C or your adapter right there, which makes it faster. But like I said, even when you're using this, you got a lot of weight. You just added a little bit more weight. So I probably won't use this one that much, only when USB ports are filled that I would use this one. But other than that, I would use just this and then the extension cable right here that came with it, which is a lot longer than the other one. Now, if anybody wants to buy these, I have 4 of them, and I had to label them because when you connect them into whatever program you're using, like OBS or whatever, it doesn't show, it doesn't specify the details as for which one you have plugged in. All the information will be the same because there's no drivers. There's no drivers that you have to use for it. So the best way that I was able to tell or to basically to determine which one I have connected, I will label it, and then I will label it in OBS or whatever program. So whenever whenever I used it, it will be the right one. So give me just a second. I'm gonna run behind the desk and I'm gonna swap this one out for the one that I have right now. Be right back. But you can hear me. Now I'm gonna open up the floor in a little while for anybody that wanna join. And I didn't mean to click that. And I didn't take myself off. All right, there we go. Now, can you tell a difference between the way that it was at first and what it looks like now? So, I mean, now there's not any choppiness in the video. So, but the frame rate could be a little bit higher. All right, now tonight I got 2 things of water, so there will be no dehydration of me tonight. All right, so on to the show. To begin it off, once again, welcome. My name is Kenyon Ellis. I go by the Kid. You are now tuned in to Atlanta DJ Zone Tech Tuesday Live. Tonight, no topic or no major discussion, because I thought I was going to be working a service call tonight, but I didn't end up taking it because of questions that didn't get answered before the start time. I don't know. It may be still open for me to get it tomorrow, but I didn't want to take it. Plus, it was in the heart of Atlanta during 6 o'clock traffic. I would have had to been there at 6. So that was some other reasons that I didn't take it. The money and the pay was good, but I don't like dealing with Atlanta traffic and parking. So I don't go down there a lot whenever I'm out. And when I do, I make sure I go everywhere that I can go between there and home. So I make a whole bunch of stops. But anyway, Atlanta J Zone Tech Tuesday Live. Um, every Tuesday or whenever possible between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. I have live discussions. I bring up topics from technology to marketing, everything on that aspect of the DJ and pro audio side. So tonight is basically an open discussion. Since I didn't have a topic, and I usually come up with my topics last minute, so tonight there's no topic other than new stuff that's out right now, new stuff to talk about. And one thing that we're going to talk about tonight is the release, and it was just released yesterday. It's been taken off the beta, which I think there was like 4 or 5 different beta versions, and there's a lot of features in it that um, that have been worked on in order to make the change, and that's Serato DJ Pro 2.5. And now the other thing that a lot of people may not know about, if you're not in the loop, OBS released a new version, and that is still it's still like in the beta phases. They haven't completely released it out, but you can download it and you can use it. Matter of fact, that's what I'm using right now. So I'm going to talk about that and some of the features that it has that I have been wanting for at least a year since I started back using OBS. So let me take another drink, and I came well prepared today. I don't have just 1 cup of ice water. I brought 2 cups. So looks like I'm gonna be getting a lot of my water in today. And plus, with it getting warm outside and I'm in the basement, I don't have a fan on, or at least a big fan. My light has a fan on it, but it really is not doing that much. So um, I'm not relying on it. I just feel a slight little breeze hitting my face, and it's at the highest settings that it can go. So the water will definitely be needed for tonight. See, now you talking about a 2-hour show going to a 5-hour show. I'm not a big drinker. I mean, we have alcohol here, which some of it, a lot of it has not been open. That that we get whenever we go on cruises, whenever we go to the islands or something like that, take a trip, we, bring some alcohol back. But in most cases, we don't never drink it. I don't think it's anything that we bought within the last 10, 12 years that has been completely drunk to the bottom. Nope, it ain't vodka and it ain't gin, especially with me sipping on it this hard. And that's a lot of vodka and gin to be drinking at one time. So no, it's not either of those. Sorry. We're not going to get into that type of show tonight, because if I was to drink that much, either you be missing me because I'll be passed out on the floor, or I would be running off probably with random subjects and topics all day. So we're not we're not going to do that. All right. So first thing we're going to get into. Let me get my glasses cleaned off. Which how y'all like my glasses? Now I'm not a big person on glasses. Um, like I said before, I own glasses. I got my first pair of glasses in '91 when I was in college. Wow, that's real clear. Anyway, I got my first pair of glasses when I was in college in '91. I probably had them for 6 months. Then, then, um, then when I needed glasses again, because my eyesight wasn't extremely bad, I just couldn't see things far away. So the next time I needed glasses, and they both the same situation. I was in school, sitting in the back of the room, and I couldn't see the board. So at that point, I needed I needed glasses so I can see. So next time was probably 90, 80, 80, 99, 99, 99 when I was in DeVry. I got contacts. First time trying contacts. I only wore contacts long enough to finish up the first box. I never did order anymore. I never did get any glasses. Then after that, I haven't worn anything until recently. Wife said, "Hey, got this credit. Everybody's getting new glasses. You need to go ahead and get some glasses." So I'm like, all right, whatever. Okay. So I went ahead and buckled down and started wearing glasses. Now I don't wear them all the time. Like around in the house, I don't wear them because a lot of stuff that's near me, I can see it. I may wear them outside when I'm driving or whatever. So you may not see me with them on all the time. But anyway, let me get off that. Stop rambling about that, because this is not that type of show. So let's go ahead now and get started. And I'm going to have to open up some stuff and download some stuff, because I'm going to open up Serato DJ. I'm going to do it on Windows first because that's the computer I'm on. Then I'm going to pull a Mac out. And the thing is, I don't know whether you need to download it on the Mac, because some of the features are features that are related to the new Macs. Whether, or even if you have a Mac that's 2013 or higher, anything that you may have accidentally or automatically updated to Big Sur is the reason that you will need that version, especially if you got the new one, the new MacBook Pro, the 2021, that has the M1 chip in it. So those are like the main features that Serato has been taking a lot of their time in order to get that done. So let me go ahead and pull that banner up. And that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Serato DJ Pro 2.5, the full version has now been confirmed. Now, just because it's done doesn't mean that there aren't any issues that haven't been resolved. Now, let me mention this to people that don't know how software and some hardware companies work. Now, what takes long for a product to come out is the research and development. The engineering, the manufacturing, that's all been done probably way before you ever heard the product was coming out. So usually at the time when the public hears about it is when they're doing the research and development. And that's just at that point, they may release out certain copies to certain few people that use it normally, that can put it through a rigorous test and be able to determine if it's ready to be released to the public. Now, I used to be on one of those teams. I used to be on the Windows team for Windows 7. I had the Windows 7 beta, which I still use now. Uh, I was on the team for Windows 7, and I actually think they released it early, but Windows 7 did a lot better than what I thought it would as for it was released, because it was only maybe like a 6 month. Okay, yep, something happened. I don't know what happened. Hold on, let me turn this monitor on right here and move my screen up so I can see what's going on, because it I saw it went out just, yeah, Eric, I saw it started going out just as I was talking about something. You said the last thing, say it froze right about, okay, so it froze right about when I started looking at it. Let me change my input. Protests right now have continued. Demonstrators have gathered outside the police department building. The last 2 nights, rioters have clashed with police. Dozens of arrests were made Monday night alone. In addition, there have been several peaceful. All right, so let me move this screen up so I can. In addition, there have been several peaceful. All right, so let me move this screen up so I can. All right. So I had to mute that too because I see I was getting a feedback because I had the live stream that was playing at the same time. All right. Yeah, I had the news on. When I turned the TV on, it was on the news. I had to change the input to PC so that the video that I'm looking at now would go up, would go to that screen. But anyway, like I was saying, I think the last thing you heard me say was 6 months. Yep, 6 months after the beta, they released Windows 7. This is what I want to say to those that don't understand how hardware and software companies work. Like I said again, and I probably said this before it went out, that the the engineering, all the pre-work has already done. The engineering is already, the product has been designed, parts has been decided on what they need. They've done a mock unit that was tested, or the software has been mocked up and ran. And by the time the public hears it, it's about time to release it. But they will only release it and moderations at that time. So they'll put in a release date. They'll set a release date maybe somewhere in fourth quarter. They may say December 25th or December 13th or something like that. Some specific day that they pick that they want to release it. Now, some companies have gone past that date because they still have issues. The beta was not yet ready. And phase was one. Phase was one where they went well past their release dates. When they do a release date, something happened, then they'll set another release date and they will have more issues. So, in the event where they let the public know that it's going to be released at this date, and between that date, they may have other companies or individuals that can test that market, test that product in a real environment to use it, and also provide feedback on any issues so they can get out the bugs and the kinks and stuff like that. And that's what usually happens. Now, in this case with Serato DJ Pro, two of the main features that were implemented in this to make it a 2.5 instead of a 2.4.7 or 2.4.8. And one was that the release of the most recent operating system from Apple, Big Sur. Big Sur was another evolution change into Apple software, to where they made a lot of changes within the software, to where it's not as easy to adapt to that new software, and third party software companies will have to engineer their products again after they get a copy of it. Now, I've been saying this, and I don't know for sure because I did see that Apple does have a beta testing group. Is that I thought that Apple never released their operating system until the actual date. When the third party manufacturers get it, is when the public get it. And I still don't know for sure whether there is an early release date that they let companies get access so they can start making changes to their hardware or software, to where when the full release comes out to the public, everybody will be able to use what they're already using without any issues, other than maybe uploading a newer version of the software, update drivers, or firmware or whatever, something to that fact. A new program, a new driver, or a new firmware. One of the three, or maybe all of three. So at that point, that was one thing. Big Sur was another issue. Also, with that, is that at that time when they released Big Sur, there was also a change in Apple's processor. They've gone from the Intel chip over to the ARM's M1 chip, which is a brand new chip. Now, a lot of these manufacturer companies may have been writing codes that are Linux based, or Apple based, or Windows based. Now you have a brand new operating system or a brand new processor that you have to write code for, because I don't think the codes are interchangeable, or not completely interchangeable, as for so to say that what is written in Linux can be used for the M1. I'm not for sure about that, so don't quote me. Don't quote me on that part of what I'm saying. This is just my opinion as for how things go. So now you got this new M1 chip, and nobody can't get their programs or their hardware to work with it as quickly. Now, Virtual DJ may have gotten it cracked because Virtual DJ is more of, I guess, more of an open format. I mean, it's not open to the public, but a lot of people can make changes in virtual DJ than what they would Serato. Serato is locked tight. So in order for the DJs, or excuse me, in order for the engineers and the software developers to keep it tight, it's going to be difficult to create anything new. So at that point, trying to make something new is going to take time. And a lot of people was was very impatient, and still up to just 2 days ago, I seen a post where somebody wasn't they was impatient about that it was taking so long. So now it's completely been released. But the first thing that I would say before you upgrade is keep the version that you have right now. Because if some of these changes that Serato is making doesn't apply to you, then you don't need it. And one of the features that is being applied that you may need it for is the phase integration, to where you can use you use RTA. Wait, no, you use USB instead of RCAs for for the phase controllers. So now let me go ahead and pull up a share screen, and I probably should have turned this intro thing off. So I'm gonna turn this off for a second, and now I'm gonna go ahead and do a shared screen, open up a browser, and we can go to Serato and check it out. Tab, I want to do the new. All right, so first off, what we're gonna do is go to Serato website, and I probably should just did it right here. All right, go to Serato, and nope, I don't want to click that off. Go to Serato Pro and download. Now, when you get to the site, before you start the download, find out why and what exactly are you downloading. And let me pop off screen so y'all can see full screen. Like go over to the left and find out what has been changed. But before I go through this on the left, let's look at some stuff on the right. Like for one, let's make sure the system requirements haven't been changed. Of course, the size has been changed because it's now at 625 megabytes, but this is the Windows version. So make sure that your requirements are still the same. And this is the requirements that is asking for, of course, for operating system for Windows 10. For now, for Mac, you need to be running Mojave, Catalina, or Big Sur. So on my Macs, and all my Macs are either a 2009, 10, or 11, I wouldn't really need to upgrade to this. There's probably no features in here that I would need, and we'll find that out once I go over to the left. But these are the operating systems that it asks for. So at that point, you may want to have these because you may have issues if you don't, and it may not take. So the other thing I would say on top of this, also make sure you keep the version that you have right now. Do not get rid of the version that you're currently working. All right. Now, as for the processor, uh, I3, I5, I7, I9, and now the new Apple M1. This is the first one that's using the Apple ARMS M1 chip. Now, as for the i3, you're going to only find that in Windows laptops or computers. You won't find it in there. And I'm wondering, they need to go ahead and add in AMD, because AMD is hitting it right now. So that's one thing they need to go ahead and start listing the processor for the Ryzen, because the Ryzen has chips that are compatible with the Intel. All right, screen resolution is something that's 720. Your memory needs to be about 4 gig, USB 2.0, 5 gigs of hard space. Everything else applies to other programs, which I'm not going to go into. And we're going to move on from there. Shut that down, and we're going over to the left side. All right, Serato Pro 2.5 is now bringing Big Sur support, phase support, reloop ready support, which I'm not familiar with that. Beat source link and beat port link offline lockers, and the new expansions window. All right, now Big Sur and the M1 support, official support of Mac OS 11 Big Sur and the Apple M1. And this is important. This is one thing important. Some hardware does not yet work with Mac OS 11 Big Sur. So you may want to check into that. Let me click on it and see what it says. And if you click on it, and I guarantee you there's going to be somebody that downloaded it and they didn't check this part out. So some of the hardware it doesn't support. It doesn't support the Kai AMX, the Allen and Heath X1 43C. A lot of Denon devices, the Denon box, sound card box, the DS1, the MC 4000, 7000, 2000, 6000, and MCX 8000. Also, the primes, the DJX 1800, 1850, and the Prime 4. So that's a lot of Denon products right there. All right, Gemini hardware, it doesn't support the Slate 4 or the Slate. Hercules, there are a few controllers that it doesn't support. The drivers are on it, a beta. Core, the COS DJ is not supported. Mixar has the Duo, Primo, and Quattro. So none of the Mixar mixers are not compatible. Then you have a slew of wow. Okay. All right. So it's in reality, it's not ready yet. And I'm glad I found this, because it is not ready yet. Wait, hold on. Wait, let me see. Okay, my bad. This is supported hardware. All right, let's look down here. Okay. Ignore everything I just said starting off. This is supported hardware. I overlooked that when I saw that it was so much listed. This is hardware that you can use. So the Denons, the AMX, the Kai AMX, the Allen Heath X1, the Gemini, the Hercules, all the new marks, and that includes NS6. It does not support the NS6 version 1. Wait, no, excuse me, the NS7. It supports the NS7 3, but not the 2 and the original. But I'm gonna give that a try and see what happens on my MacBook soon when I download it to there. But I see that they phased out a lot of equipment. The original NS6, the original NS7, and the NS7 2, which I don't think that That's going to be a difference because there wasn't any much difference between the NS7 II and the NS7 III. So Eric, you're good. I think you have the NS7 III, right? Really make controllers makes this. Yep, they do. They have several. They have the one, and Steven has the reloop, I think. Yeah, the reloop. He has the reloop duo, which the duo looks more like, and I actually thought that he was a tractor DJ because when I see it, I can't really see it because of his effects, his visual effects. I couldn't really tell, but I thought it was an actual tractor S1. And so he actually has a duo. All right, so all the Pioneer or a lot of the Pioneer controllers, which depending on which controller that you have, you're gonna, as you can see right here, you're gonna have to get a new driver. There's a new driver. So this is probably the link to, yeah, this is the link to Pioneer's site for, is it for each driver? Yep, there's a link for each driver. So you're going to have a lot of people that's going to overlook this. They're going to go and download it. It's not going to work or whatever. And that's all because they didn't read this section or they didn't come across this section to know, well, hey, I downloaded it, I installed it, it's not working. And yep, you said you got the NS7 III. Okay, cool. You ain't good then. But let's see. With me, I don't have the 70 or 72. It does not support the 62. Wow. So they phased out the 62. So I may not be able to use it, but we will find out soon. And it says, so I'm going to say this is still in, this is still like in, this is still like in a beta. This is a public release, but it's still in beta, even though they've done a full release. So, okay, you got your reloop products here. That's listed. People still use Vestax controllers. Wow. And these controllers are older than a lot of the other stuff. So I don't know why. Oh, here we go. In testing. So there's still some stuff that's in beta testing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I guess that's a good thing that I went over this because, and y'all know, whenever I do these shows, there's always going to be something that somebody has a problem with that I mentioned here. And this is going to be one. Somebody, like, say for instance, there's going to be somebody with a 62 or SL box or whatever and say, hey, the 2.5 doesn't work. And this may be somebody that may be using it and they may need one of the other features like phase or whatever. That part may work, but the actual sound card itself may not work. And these everything else, 61, 62, which is what I have, 64, 68, SL2, SL3. I have that one, SL4. So everything else by Rain is not available or is still in testing. Then you got a couple of rolling stuff. And now at the bottom, you have stuff that's not compatible. So you got the Allen and Heath X1, the DB2, and the DB4. If you're using the Twitch, the Novation Twitch, it's not supported. And the V7, the NS. Oh, And okay, they got the NS2 listed here, even though the NS2 and the NS3 there wasn't much of a difference. So they have phased these out, and also the 57 Mark II, which is not to be confused with the 57 Mark I. And you will have people that will not look at that. They will not pay attention to that. And where was that located? And see, it's right there. When people get to the site, they're gonna jump straight here, download it, and be done. When I'm gonna go ahead and start the download while I finish reading the rest of the stuff. Now the second thing is phase support. And it says now an official Serato accessory, get improved accuracy, reduced latency, and new features when connecting phase through USB. There's now no need for RCA cables. So now phase is virtually a sound card, can become a sound card if you're using phase. All right, reloop ready support, a 2-channel controller that combines portability and performance, equipped with touch sensitive jog wheels and 16 RGB performance pads to use with Serato DJ Pro pad modes, including scratch bank, scratch bank, sitting flush on a 13-inch laptop so you can prepare or practice your sets anywhere. Now, I have not seen this product, uh, Reloop Ready. Yep. And I'm trying to pull it up now. I'm curious. Oh, so I have not seen this. This is, you know what? We'll go into this at the end because you guys probably won't see it. But this is a controller by Reloop, and I mean it is compact. It has everything all smashed in close together, but it's small enough it can sit on a 15-inch keyboard. It can sit on a 15-inch keyboard, a MacBook Pro. If you got a 15-inch MacBook, you can sit it. It's about the size of a 15-inch MacBook. Put it like that. That's what it looks like. And I think this is a 15-inch. This may be one of the 16-inch, but it's one of the it's either a 16-inch or a 15-inch MacBook Pro. But that's about the size of it, and it's about 350 from what I'm seeing on ZZ Sounds. But anyway, I'll go into that. I'll pull that up later and we can look at that. But let's consider that that's a hardware feature. Nope, it's not. It's bigger than the DJ Go. Way larger than the DJ Go. It's actually the size of a and let me bring myself up to screen. It's actually the size of a laptop. So this is my Oh, I wish I had my other laptop. I have to unhook it. But it's actually about the size. It's actually about the size of a laptop. The pictures that I can show you is they have it sitting on covering the keyboard. And I actually thought it was all in one unit. I'm like, oh, that has a built-in screen, but it wasn't. They just had it sitting on top of the keyboard. But I mentioned that later on. Let me go ahead and finish that up. So basically, this is hardware support. The phase support is hardware. That's hardware. That's basically making it to where now it's a Serato supported sound card. So if you have phase, then you don't I don't think you really need you don't need to have a Serato based mixer. I think you could have a regular mixer like maybe a Gemini or a Vestax, or something that was pre DVS era, and just use the phase with it, and it will allow you to do Serato. Now, as for what type of licenses, if it's plug and play where you don't need a license, I don't know. I don't know about all that. So phase and reloop are hardware issues or hardware updates that was done to it. And next you got offline locker for beat support and beat port with their link feature. And what that does, it stores up to 100 tracks on your device to access and play without an internet connection. And it says note Link Pro and Link Pro Plus plans are required. So basically, that's offload off that's offline support. That's offline support for BeatLink and BeatSource, Beatport and BeatSource. All right, new expansion windows. An improved workflow for exploring and managing your Serato Pro and expansion pack licenses and subscriptions. All right, we're gonna look into that when I start installing it. And then for recent updates, and these are hardware. The Denon DJ SC 6000 Prime and 6000 M Prime, the Pioneer DDJ or DJM S7, the Rain 1, and also Scratch Bank supports for the latest Rain mixes. I wish they was able to make the Scratch Bank into the 62, but anyway, that may be an outdated point right there. So that's it for that. Let me go ahead and start the download. Now, like I said, when you're downloading, you want to rename it. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take the shared screen off for a second. I'm gonna turn it back on, but I'm gonna turn it on to the screen instead of the tab. All right, so now I'm gonna move my install so you can see what I'm doing different there. All right, so I'm about to install. All right, now this is where I make the change. And this is Windows. Mac, you could do it differently. I probably would need to pull out the Mac and show you how to do it on Mac. But what you want to do, you want to rename. You want to rename the location of where you're going to be putting it. So what I do, I would go into here and I would go 2.5. I'm gonna name it final. Or let's go full. So it's going to save in a new folder location than where the current version that I have, which is a beta. And let's see if that shows up. Should be in program files. And see right here, I got several different versions. I think I didn't. This one may be 2.5. I just didn't I didn't label that one. Let me go ahead and check. Nope, that's not 2.5 because the date that it's created is in 2018. So I'm gonna leave that one where it is. As you can see, all the rest of them, a lot of older versions that I have, and there may be some that I've uninstalled because I've updated with others like this 2.0.4. It may not be one that I have on here now. It may actually be uninstalled and the folder never deleted, but I'm not going to mess with it. But anyway, here, and once I do the install, there should be 2.5 full added. So I'm gonna cancel this because I'm not gonna change anything there. This is gonna be my folder name for that area. And then also when I finish, I will go in and rename the icon. All right, so I'm ready to install. Accept the terms. All right, let me pull that up while this is installing. And let me make sure it's something else I'm not supposed to be clicking on. But this is what it looks like right here, Eric. This is the first version. As you can see, it's about the size of a 15-inch, or this may be a 16-inch MacBook Pro. But look how compact all the buttons and the features are. Now the thing is, I want to know, is it all right? Now I'm getting a quick time. It wants to update, so I'm just going to click on modify. Let everything stay the same. All right, need to update that. But yeah, look at, yeah, it's about the size of a MacBook. Then also you could use it with the iPad, I guess, with DJ. I want to know if DJ Angelo, because usually when he gets his hands on this, they send him one. Since he's I guess he's a sponsored DJ for them, that he does a video. So I'm gonna look for that in a little while to see if he has a video. But as you can see, it's about the size of a. Oh, you got two ports. You got one for PC. I can't tell what type of port that is. But I guess this is the one that plugs into your iPad. Or no, this is the one that connects to your iPad. Let's see, headphones and output. Okay, that's your effects loop. Tempo. Filter. Okay, there's your channel faders. No gain. Okay, gain. Ugh. You have a high and a low. So basically, you got a tone. No mid range. No mids. But I guess they ain't have no choice because they didn't have too much space. Then you have your control knob, your load buttons. Oh, they even put a filter, cue, headphone cues. crossfader, line fader. Same thing for the other side. Now for your loops. And over here on the edge, have your output. I can't tell what that is. Master volume, Q mix, Q volume headphones. So you have nothing on the back, everything is on the side. All right, let's check out Serato, and it's done, but I gotta restart. Okay, I'm gonna run it without restarting. You can run it without restarting, but it's asking me to restart. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. If I have to restart, it won't take me but a split second to do it. Now, let me show you this while I'm thinking about it, because this just popped up. Now, when I go to the icon, it says Serato DJ Pro. Now, what I want to do, I want to rename it. In order for me to rename it, this is what I need to do. I would need to go to that same location. Go to C drive, program files, Serato, and right here, I would want to go in here and rename the exe files. So what I'm looking for is this right here. And it usually have the icon beside it, and rename it. Yes, I am the admin. So now whenever I see it on my desktop or whatever, it should be 2.5. We go into my folder. And if it's not, if that doesn't work, you can always go back and change it. Okay, this is what I should have done. Let me go back and change it because that didn't work. So let me open that back up and undo all that and show you what I actually should have done. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna take off the number and the full. This. All right, so now I'm gonna create a shortcut. Pin to store. Nope, I don't want to do the rename. I'm gonna do the pin to start. And then I'm gonna go into there where my shortcuts are located, and now I'm gonna rename it from here. And all I did here was went into where it was located. So this doesn't actually changes the exe file that I renamed here. It only changed the location. So now when I go into my folder for Serato, it should have a 2.5. and it didn't put it in there. I did it. It's supposed to go to start. Or was it start somewhere? Let me make sure. Let's see what version this is. I'm gonna open it up now. Oh yeah, everybody gonna be a DJ now. 350, you can have a full controller. Now the question with that, Eric, is oh, let me go ahead and bring y'all up. Let me go ahead and send y'all an invite. All right, there's the link to join. Now the thing is, with a $350 reloop controller, what's up? What's up, Steven? Talking about the new version of Serato right now. Now, what we found out that the hardware support, as for the phase, there's also a new controller that it supports to it, and it's a controller that I hadn't even seen yet or even heard of. Is this right here? The reloop, something about a reloop. And let me go to their actual, and it's 350. So the thing, and it's sitting on top of a MacBook. That's what the size is. Actually the size of a MacBook. They just had it sitting covering the keys. As you can see, probably right here, where it's covering, is sitting, and I guess they making it to where you can see the size ratio of it with a MacBook. But I don't know nobody that will probably do that. I mean, you probably could if you had not much table space, and if you was a person that liked to use the load and the control knobs that that don't do a lot of control from the keyboard, you probably could, and especially if it had feet to where it was raised up and not making contact from. I see you, Eric. Here I am coming. All right, what's going on? What's going on? Hold on a second. I can't hear you. Let me make sure that I got my I don't think I have my audio routed. Yep, I got it routed. Say something because your mic is muted. If you need to say something, or you just chilling. Wave your hands if you wave your hands like this if you just chilling. Okay, but just bring your mic on whenever you want to join in. But with this controller, and this is the last thing I want to see about this, and we could talk about this like last, is if I'm just browsing through real quick and I don't see it, I may have to go to the site for it or go to Serato site, but I can't tell whether it's light reading Serato DJ Lite or Serato DJ Pro. But usually something in this price range and class is usually light, to where you have to purchase the full license. So once you buy the controller and then purchase the full license, you've exceeded $500, depending on how much that you spent for the license.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What's going on?
I'm just chilling.
So
yeah, everybody. No, not everybody. I said everybody.
Everybody
gonna be a DJ now.
The thing is, are they gonna be real DJs or fake DJs?
I don't know, dude. That depends on. Yo, the DJ gotta rock the crowd. That's his job. That's his number one job right there.
It seems like people overlooking that as that fact.
That's the number one job.
You know, you got to have turntables to be real. Well, I got a controller. Am I a real DJ? You got to have a MacBook. Oh, I got Windows. Am I a DJ? You know, just all those different. We can get into that last.
Yo, you gonna get into that later? We gonna. I rocked the party in Virginia with a DJ to go and a Bluetooth fucking speaker that I hooked up with to my laptop. I was running Serato. I was doing Serato, using the DJ to go, and I rocked the hotel ballroom. Had about 75, 80 people in there, and they couldn't tell me I wasn't a real DJ. But
well, you know, they couldn't tell you unless there was a real DJ in the room, and he saw you like, man, look at this dude. DJ, this little controller, this little bit of thing.
And then
from a laptop, they would have called you immediately a laptop DJ at that point.
Until I unleashed sounds.
And the thing is, if they don't feel the vibe, I mean, the crowd is just used to whatever they, you know, they hear music and dance or whatever, you know, they good. But if they can't move to it, if it's something that doesn't move them, then you know you're not doing your thing.
Yeah.
So you can't please everybody.
Nope.
But that's not the job. The only people you need to please are the people that came there to hear you.
Correct. Came there to hear you or spent their money.
That's right.
Have a good time. And that's one of the DJ's primary functions, to make sure the crowd have a good time.
Let me tell you something.
Steven.
What's up, Steve?
Oh no, fellas. Let me tell you something.
Right,
I want to add on to what you just said.
I just found out something that's going to become an issue in the next couple of days.
Well, that you just found out you're not a real DJ? No, before you go into that, what you just said about the small controller you had, I've been to a wedding where the DJ rocked the wedding with cassette tapes. I'm not making this up.
Was he
had a
mixing
box.
or was he just?
Nah, he wasn't mixing. You can't beat match with it, but you know he had like a whole box of cassettes.
It's possible now. It's possible.
He had an assistant. They was queuing up the tapes. He had it all marked because I went over there and checked them out because I was shocked. I've never seen nothing like this. This was in Nashville.
What year?
Wedding in Nashville.
Recent?
No, it wasn't recent. Probably like early 2000s or something like that. It was a while ago, but I'll never forget it because I never seen nothing like that before, and ain't seen nothing like that since. It was shocking because I was like, this dude got cassettes and get tapes.
And he had somebody that was queuing up all his music.
He had assistants.
He had an assistant. He was teaching her how to do it.
Like back in the day, we used to have people handing us records.
Right.
Handing the records and guys putting them away for us.
He had a box of cassette tapes. Telling you, it was wild. They rocked the wedding though.
Was he rocking it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing a good job. I ain't had no complaint.
Okay, that's all that matters.
He was a real DJ.
And a lot of DJs, you wouldn't see that. They won't see, you know, they'll see that he has piss poor equipment. He doesn't have the right equipment to rock it. But in reality, to be a real DJ is, are you entertaining the crowd?
Right. It ain't about what you using. It's how you use it.
How you use it.
Straight up and down.
If you remember, the radio stations use carts, right? What's that? What's that card? That's a tape, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tape. They put it looked like an 8-track. Yeah.
Yeah. Card it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time, like all the commercials and stuff. That's how they plug them in.
Yeah.
the thing that you missed right before this, and I'm pulling it back up now, is this is something that a lot of people are not going to see. And even though they released this 2.5, and there's a lot of people on Mac that have been waiting for this, there's some stuff that they haven't completed yet with the testing. Now, this list right here, and you have to go and find this list. I mean, it's not that hard to find. You just have to look as for, let me go back again.
Oh, like some of the hardware is not supported.
Yeah, this is the download page right here.
It says that in the email. If you actually, so I saw your comment earlier, Eric, about how people don't read. That it's in the email that they sent out about the update that says some hardware is still not supported in Big Sur. Check the list or check the manufacturer's website to see if it's supported. It says it in the email.
I haven't checked the email yet. Does it give you a link to that?
You know what? I don't know. Let me check real quick.
Because if it doesn't give you the link, people are not going to check it. They're going to want to go ahead and download it because they're like, man, I've been waiting for this for like months. I need to go ahead and download it and try it. I got an event coming up on Friday.
Well, see, the thing is, they can still download it and install it. It's just not going to make the controller that if the controller or whatever hardware they got, if it's a mixer or whatever, it's not going to make that suddenly start working if that manufacturer hasn't made drivers for it to work with Big Sur. So that's the hurdle still that some of those people may have. But Serato will still run. It'll still work perfectly fine. And correction, it doesn't say it on the, well, at least not this email that I'm looking at, but I think it says it somewhere on the page. I saw it somewhere when I went to download it. Maybe I think it's on the, where did I see it?
Yeah, it's right under the
right under where it's talking about Big Sur. That's what it is. Yeah. It's on that page. Yeah. I know I saw it somewhere when I went to go download it.
But what I'm saying is you're going to have some people, and I'm sure you've seen it posted in a lot of different groups. Just the zone alone, I think maybe 5 or 6 times I've seen it by different people where people have shared the email that, you know, is okay to download. So what people are going to do now, they're going to come directly to the site. They're going to go right over here to the right side. They're going to click on it. They're going to download it. But here's the thing that they don't see is right over here on the left-hand side, there's the list that you need to see if your hardware is compatible. Now, I thought at first, and I think I scrolled down too far, this right here is the supported stuff, which is pretty much most of it. And then some of it, it tells you that, like for the Hercules controllers, there's beta drivers that you have to download in order to use. And once you start to get into the Pioneer stuff, there's drivers you have to go for.
A lot on that list.
Yeah,
that's actually a lot. I hadn't actually looked at the list. My mixer is even on there. Fortunately, I'm not running Big Sur. I can't actually on my MacBook, but I think Mixar. I got a Mixar's Duo. I think Mixar's is actually out of business. So I don't expect them to update anyway. But
you got the Duo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here. It's compatible.
Oh, that's on the supported list. Okay, my bad. Okay. So that's why it's such a long list. Okay, currently supported is at the bottom. Okay, that's a short list. That's not too bad.
Well, wait. This is the testing. The testing starts here. So basically, anything from all the SL boxes 2, 3, and 4 are still in testing. So if I plug mine up, Eric plug his up, and we running this, and I'm gonna find out in a minute because I'm gonna connect my 62. I'm gonna turn it on. I may have to drop out and restart for it to take, but the 61, the 62, 64, and 68, all the 60 series. And I thought from when I saw the support, and I didn't see any of those mixers, like right here, they started with the 70 series and the Rain 1 and the MP 2015. I'm like, so what? They've completely wiped out the 62 and other mixers that was Serato, because as time go on, they're going to start eliminating hardware. There's some hardware that you're not going to use, which in fact, once you get down to the bottom, and this is just test. The testing was short. 60 series, the SL boxes, and then certain Roland controllers that they still are working through. But now, here are the unsupported. And you got two Allen and Heath X1 mixers or controllers, the Novation Twitch, and then with Newmark, the V7, the original NS7, NS7 II, and NS7 VI. And then also on the Rain side, the 57 Mark II. So now they phased out. They've got hardware that they're not supporting, that you won't be able.
Let's be clear on that still though. This is specifically support for those devices under Big Sur.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically Big Sur. If you have anything less than Big Sur, it will still work, because there are drivers for Catalina on back.
Okay, so now since you said that, let's mention this. Let's say if you need this because you have phase, but you have you running the 57 Mark II mixer. That's the mixer you have, but you're using phase. Of course, before that, you was using phase, but you had to use RCAs. Now they have it to where it's using USB support. You won't use the phase, but now you find out that your mixer is no longer supported. But you're still using
under Big Sur.
No, let's just say not even Big Sur. Let's say is Catalina or Mojave. Say not you don't even fall in the Big Sur class. Like say for instance, let's say if you got a 2013 or 12 MacBook Pro where
you can't update
Big Sur.
Yeah, you're good.
I think that would be an issue.
Nope, you're good.
You think it'll still work?
Look at what it says at the top. This is specifically for OS 11 Big Sur. It doesn't say anything about any other OS versions Big Sur. Because up to this point, before Big Sur, nobody had any of those problems with those devices. Only thing that's different is you updating Serato to a new version. The issue here with those that's in this list are specifically drivers. The drivers for those devices under other OS versions exist already and they work. So those drivers are basically to tell Serato how to communicate with it. Serato already knows how to communicate with it using those drivers. There's no issue there. So the phase thing, all of that is irrelevant. Those devices on this list, if you were able to use it before with Serato on the OS version that you're running, then you're good. But if you got Big Sur, there's no drivers for those devices that are on that unsupported list, and the ones that are testing haven't been released yet. Those are the ones you'll have issues. Otherwise, you're good.
Okay, so the only people that will have issues is if you have a 2021 MacBook Pro, something that has
or you already updated.
If you update it, you would either have to throttle back or restore back to a previous point or whatever, and then download this version. But if you're using it under Big Sur, everything in this list applies, where the supported, the currently testing, and the unsupported. So right now, I shouldn't have a problem with my NS7. I should be able to hook my NS7 and my my Serato SL3, and it should work because I don't have anything that's using Big Sur. Okay, exactly. I got it.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been running the beta since the beta dropped, like maybe like within 3 or 4 days after the original beta for 2.5 dropped. I updated. I was running the beta for Phase and the beta for Serato, and I had there were 4 beta releases. I had 3 of the 4. I had the first one, the second one, and the fourth one. I didn't have the first one, the third one, and the fourth one, something like that. I skipped one of them because I didn't know it was there, and the new one had come out already. I just installed the fourth one last week. I did 2 sets with it. Didn't have no problems, and then I've updated to the latest. Now, here's the funny thing. So I might have to call Phase support about this. So, like I said, I've been running the beta for 2 months. I have not had an issue with either beta until the final release, and then the final release comes out, and now I'm having issues. So what happens is Serato is fine. As far as I know, I don't think it's with Serato. So my Phase, you know what? I'm gonna try another USB cable. Maybe that's it. But the Phase remotes, only one of them, the one that's on my left deck, they're working fine, and then all of a sudden it stops responding when I mount a new song. I can go maybe about 15, 20 minutes or so. I haven't really timed it, but it'll just suddenly not do anything. When I'm spinning it, nothing happens. And so what I have to do is I'll put the right deck in internal mode, unplug the USB, plug it back in, wait for it to pick up the Phase again, switch back into wireless mode, and then the remote works. Then maybe another 30 minutes or so will go by, and that same left one will just turn off. Just the lights go out on it. And I have to take it off, dock it. It'll pick up charging, light back up. Then I can put it back, let it sync up, and then it'll start working fine. And then it'll be fine after that. It's done that 2 days in a row in that exact order.
About around roughly the same amount of time.
Yep. I have no idea why all of a sudden it started doing that. The only thing that's different is that I installed the full release of the Phase update and the Serato 2.5 full release.
Now, have you went back to the last beta to see if it happens?
I haven't reverted.
That may be in the full.
You know what happens sometimes, Steve, in software development? If the program is fixed one thing and breaks something else.
It breaks something up. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm thinking might have happened, because I didn't have any issues. I take that back. I had one issue with one of the betas. I think it was the third one. And just like Serato just froze for maybe about 30 seconds, which in the mix, that's a long time. It just froze up, sound stopped. I've had Serato freeze on me in the past, even during Scratch Live days, and the music continued. This time it just dead silence.
It was a memory
right. And then it just kicked back in, and it was fine after that. Yeah, it was that's the only issue that I had.
And you know, Kenyon, it was programmed in Java and didn't recognize the memory.
Yeah, that uploaded. As a matter of fact, I was going. Let me ask you this: what changes have you went through and looked at the changes in the last version that you were running and this version to see what they may have integrated that may be causing some issue? Because when I downloaded
I haven't looked at deeply edit yet.
I don't think Mac downloads uses Java anymore, but I noticed that it updated the Java when I installed it on here.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it that deeply yet to figure out exactly what it is. I just noticed it earlier today. I was bored and decided to go live, and while I was playing, the same thing happened when I did a fill-in slot yesterday, and I was like, wait a minute, this is exactly the same thing. When the second thing happened, when it shut off, that's when it clicked in my head. It was like, wait a minute, this is the exact same order that had happened yesterday. So like something might be up. So I got my regular show tomorrow. So I think what I'm gonna do is, because I'm still using the same original USB cable that came with it, and I've heard things about their USB and RCA cables are kind of cheap. So I'm gonna change the USB cable and try and see if that makes a difference. So if it doesn't happen tomorrow and I change the USB cable, then that's what it was.
This is the thing I mentioned about USB cables that are shipped out with hardware and product. And this is my experience from working at a restore manufacturer. When I used to work with, I worked at Dish Network, and we used to get in, like say for instance, you returning a receiver. You send it in a receiver, either you cancel the service or you upgrade or whatever. They send you a box, put it in the box, you pack it up and ship it. The facility I used to work at, that's what we used to get that stuff in, open up the boxes, inventory, scan everything, record everything that you sent back, so that way you would get the credit. You wouldn't be charged for missing stuff or whatever. Then after that, it goes on the pallet, and then it goes inside a room. Inside the room, they take it apart, do cosmetic effects, change cases, change covers, whatever needs to be changed to make it new, test it, and then it goes back out another door and it's boxed back up and it's repalletized as a reman or whatever. Now,
whatever, yeah.
Huh?
Refurb or
yeah. And then what I also noticed is that they buy massive bulks. I mean, the pallet is like way off the floor of cables. The RCA cables, your composite cables, your
power
cables, and whatever. And they just buy they are real cheap. They may spend like 10 cents a piece for just the RCA cable that you may go to Micro Center or Best Buy and spend somewhere between $3 to $5 for. Now, a lot of manufacturers use that same concept to save money. Of course, they want you to be able to use that product straight out the box. So they'll buy bulks of cables and toss a cable in there because it only costs them a few pennies. That saves you from spending any more money to where you can get that product home and use it. What I tell some people most of the time is just get you a better cable, especially the ones that have the ferrite core on it, the ferrite chokes. I'm trying to see if I should have one around here somewhere. I'll run across one in a minute. But they have that little round cylinder on the end that removes the RF.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Coming through from close by cables or even power cables. So I tell people, especially with the Pioneers have the real cheap cables, is to get you a good cable before you start to do performance. Save that cable, use it as a standby. You may use it at home, you may use it for another device or whatever, but don't use it when you're doing performance. Get a better cable because you're going to have a lot of other cables running next to it anyway. So make sure that you get something that's a little bit more than that cable, because that cable eventually over time it's going to go out on you.
Right. And that's the problem that I've seen, that a lot of people that bought phase and then they'll have issues with it, and they were like, oh man, I heard this thing was good, but it don't work for me and blah blah blah, I shouldn't have bought it, whatever. And they were like, what's going on with it? Oh, it was fine, and all of a sudden it was doing XYZ. They were like, are you using the same RCA cables that came with it? And they were like, yeah. They were like, yeah, those cables are trash, change them out. And as soon as they change out the cables, things start working fine again. It'll just be the cables. So it didn't really register to me until we were just talking about it, that I was like, you know what, maybe it's the cable. Let's start with that. Let's start, you start with the simple stuff and then you work up from there. So
you better hear something else stupid. If you don't have a turntable with a record, everything else is toys. Everything else is a toy.
Tell that to DJ Scratch, who will cut just as fiercely on a Newmark was the DJ to go, the little tiny one, as he will on his turntable.
I rocked the party with one.
DJ Scratch has some. I think he got some videos on his Instagram where he's sitting at like a little coffee table, and he's sitting there with his finger, and he is cutting it up. DJ Scratch. No, DJ Scratch.
Now Jeff did a set from his I don't know if he was in a dining room
from his kitchen. Yeah, I seen that he had a little controller in there in his kitchen. No, this was but even before that, where like he wasn't doing like a full set. He was just messing around with it, and he had like a little clip was on his Instagram. This was a while ago, but he had that little thing was just sitting on his table, and he had like one finger, and he was cutting it. He was cutting it up just like he was on some turntables. You would if you didn't see him doing it, you just heard it, you wouldn't know the difference.
I got the old one, and I gave the old one to one of my boys, but I got the newest one too because they had two versions of it. But I got the newest one around here.
So. I thought about getting one just to have something to play around when I'm sitting at the table.
Even if you're on a flight, yeah. Oh my God! It was one of the best purchases I've ever made.
Yeah, it's a cool little thing, especially for a beginner kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, where they can, they can get in without spending a bunch of money. Because I know, like my turntables, I bought my Techniques from a friend of a friend. This guy had bought them. They were still virtually brand new. I mean, when the guy brought them to me, he had them still in the original boxes with the sitting in the styrofoam and everything. The manuals was in there. Like, he barely used them. He had those. He had a pair of Autophon needles, the Autophon Black, and a pair of Sony headphones. He had the whole deal.
Now,
he sold the whole set to me.
Did he still have the 45 adapter? Did he still have the 45 adapter?
Yeah, both. I have both 45 adapters on both of them. I'm telling you, he had the things. He had them for a few months, but he was like, "This ain't for me. I give up. I'm not. I can't. I'm not with this." And wanted to get rid of them. And I was looking to buy some, and he was like, "Oh, I know somebody that wants to buy some. I know somebody that's trying to sell them," and he linked this up, and I bought my set. It's sometimes it ain't for everybody. That's a big amount of money. This is now, of course, it costs a lot more now, but this was when one Technique would run you minimum $500.
Okay.
So you're talking about he got two of those, plus he got both of his sets of needles, plus he got a set of headphones that was like 130 to 150 depending on where you got them, plus whatever sound system he might have had at the time that wasn't part of my deal that I got with him. So kids spent money to get this stuff just to find out this ain't for me. So if he could have got the little DJ to go controller and tried that out and then decided, this ain't for me, he's out what, $100?
Yeah.
Then he could turn around and sell that to somebody. I mean, it's much better entry level for people these days. So I mean, I don't discount anything that comes out. Like I'm a tech guy, so I look at everything that comes out with some sort of interest. Like the reloop thing you was just showing, I just saw that yesterday, where it sits on top of a 13-inch MacBook,
laptop,
perfect size, and it covers the keyboard. And I'm like, that's actually kind of cool that it sits like the way that it does.
I was wondering, does it mess up your keyboard, or does it mess up your speakers? Because on the side it's your speakers, but
right now that part is a little unusual because it is going to cover the speakers, but I guess it would still cover. I guess it would cover the speakers are laid out the same on the 13-inch, but the way that it's made, it's got like a gap on the inside for it to. It's designed specifically to sit like that, so it's made where it's got like for it to prop up itself, So I don't think it actually touches the keyboard. I think it just sits just above it.
Yeah, I have to look those
covers that up.
I have to look. Let me take this time to thank you, dude, for the graphics.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you send me if you got some logos you want to have on there, send me those, and I'll add them on there, because I just took that one from the website and just kind of threw it together real quick. So,
but thank you.
You know, yeah, no problem.
Another thing, back when I started DJing, 1200s were $250 a piece.
I guess that was probably before Techniques knew what they had.
yeah, exactly. That was before Techniques knew what they had, and I learned how to DJ on 1600s. 1600 had the knobs. There was 2 knobs, and then it was a control arm that you flip from 33 to 45. When there was 1 knob for 33, 1 knob for 45. And then I got the 1200s, the 1200 Mark IIs. They were going for $250 a piece.
Wow!
You get them on 40. You go down to 42nd Street, and the stores.
That's basically what I paid for mine.
Yeah, but that was when it was going for $500.
But that's not what they cost in retail, though. Yeah. I just got a really good deal. I think I paid like total $700 for both decks, the needles and the headphones, and then I ended up selling the headphones to a friend of mine, the friend that hooked me up with the deal for $50 because I already had that exact same set of headphones.
Okay.
Which in retrospect I should have kept, because they broke so easily. Like everybody I knew that had those, remember the silver Sonys that swivel?
The silver ones?
Yeah, they all broke at the swivel.
Yeah.
Everybody I knew, they broke at the swivel. They would always crack right there. And
these are my fallbacks, dude.
Yeah, I still got a pair of those.
These are my fallbacks. I got like 3 pairs of these.
Yeah, I got a pair of those. My main set are a set of Techniques. I think it was an RP 7000, something like that. But I think that's the reloop model. Getting model numbers mixed up in your head these days. But I bought these when my Sonys started to break. I started looking online trying to find another set of headphones to get, and I started reading reviews, and I kept coming across these Technique headphones, and I read this one review where the guy said he had the same Sonys, and he said, and I saw these, and I said, you know what, these look pretty good. I'm gonna buy 2 just in case one of them breaks. I'll keep the second set in my bag, and I can always pull them out as a backup. I was like, that's a smart idea. So he said that I've had these headphones for 3 years. He said my Sonys broke within a year and something. I've had these Techniques for 3 years. The second set is still in my bag, still in the box, not open. I said, oh, sold. I've had that same pair of headphones. My son is 16. They're older than him. I think I've had them maybe like 18 years or so. Same set of headphones. They still work just like day one. The best set of headphones I've ever bought in my life.
These are actually like maybe 8 years old. Only thing I've had to do with them is replace the foam. You can get the foam.
I need to replace my foam on mine because all of the material on the outside is gone, so the inside is exposed and is irritating to have on long. I got those.
Amazon. I got it from Amazon.
Yeah.
Look it up on Amazon.
I need to replace the cushions on the Techniques that I have too. I've been seeing those on Amazon. I just need to order them.
Yep.
What I did, I sprayed mine with plastic dip.
Which ones are those?
Plastic dip. This is the
the same one.
Hundreds.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think I got like.
I know a few people had those.
And what I did, I just plastic dipped. I just took plastic dip and put like a layer on it, and it will not peel off because it's embedded, and then it creates a layer into it.
Interesting.
So let me see. I got the can.
He making sure his headphones don't break.
I mean, you know, that's one of the investments that if you make the wrong decision, you're gonna end up spending some money multiple times over. That's what I highly recommend Technics headphones if you can find them. Especially they made that one set that looked like the Sony ones that swivel, but they have the detachable cable. So it was, and they're made of metal.
Is that the one that has the cup looks like a platter?
It's a circle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mine has those too. But yeah, the ones you're talking about, they're kind of like a goldish kind of color.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they got a silver one too. I think they got a silver one too. I think it's two different colors. Okay. And I think they might have a black one, but yeah, it's got the dots around it. That's the Technics whole thing, and they put the dots around the outside, and but the cable is detachable. So, because that's where when your headphones tend to short out, the short is in the cable, not in the headphones. So they made it where you could just detach that. There's long before Beats came out and was doing that.
I know.
Technics was the first ones I ever saw that did that. You could take that cable off, replace that cable, plug a new one in, you good.
AKG was the first ones.
They did, okay.
Yeah.
Sony Technics was the first ones I ever saw that did that, and then the fact that they actually they basically ripped off the Sony design that everybody was using. I mean, fact for fact, it looked exactly like it. It had the swivel on it and everything.
I got different,
but they made it out of metal instead of plastic like Sony did, and they made that detachable cable. I got a friend that actually has a pair of those. Those things are rock solid.
I'll look into them. But you know, if I got different specs, my product isn't the same. And it's not a bug, it's a feature.
I mean, that's for them to prove in a court of law, right?
Yeah. Kenyon, I was just telling Steve thank you. He gave me another background for my my OBS.
I still haven't looked into the link that you sent me yet. I think it's the same link you sent Eric.
No, what did I send you?
You sent me stuff on it wasn't backgrounds. I knew you sent me something on something. I can't remember what it was. I mean, I can go to the when we was talking in Messenger where you sent it to me.
I don't know. We be talking about such random stuff.
Kenyon, you need to put 3-in-1 oil in your chair.
I got what?
You can put some 3-in-1 oil in your chair. You got you got WD-40.
Like sitting there from the oven. It
sounds like.
Well, maybe because I dropped the mic on the floor. Yes, probably. Let me move it. Let me put it somewhere where.
Right. My wife says she.
I'm looking through this version of Serato, and I don't really see any. I guess there's not any visual change. Only one thing I see that stands out that's different from the last version. When I did the last video, the 101 video Serato DJ that I see that's in the settings. Let me share that screen real quick. I mean, it's not anything really somebody are gonna notice or even be able to tell. Is that I don't remember turn off effects on song load ever being mentioned.
Turn off effects.
Ooh, that's a feature?
Yeah.
I need to turn that on.
Turn on song load. I think that was there.
When you load the song, it turns off the effects.
I think that was there. I'm thinking that was there. Turn off effects on song load. I think that was there.
Yeah, I need to, there's a couple of options in there I need to turn on. They got the that one that says track in warning. So with the phase remotes, when you know how it flashes on the screen when you get towards the end of the song, the phase remotes, the lights on them will start to flash when you get to towards the end of the song too.
So you only need one and not the other.
Well, no, it's just blinking to let you know you're coming towards the end of the song, so you can see that if you're looking down instead of looking at the screen.
Okay, so
it's just another way to warn you.
With this check on the phase, it won't work. That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that will work with phase. That's what that option is for.
Okay, so that's
how they're advertising it. Yeah, but with that turned on, it will make the remote flash when it gets towards the end of the song.
Now, this is with Serato on your screen, your decks will start to flash.
Right.
On the range.
And the same time that happens, the phase remotes will flash too.
On the range 12, your stop and start button will flash. It will go.
Yeah, same thing.
Green.
So same effect that the 12s are doing, but now the phase remotes can do it too.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, I don't see anything. When I turned it on, I had to make sure I log into the account. So if you don't have access to your account, then you won't be able to use it if you don't remember what your password and stuff is.
Yeah. I mean, this update, the big thing,
but
the big thing with this. Go ahead. Yeah, with the big thing with this update is mainly obviously the Big Sur support, and then right behind that is the phase support, and then the next big thing after that is the offline locker support for beat source and beatport, which is a good thing to kind of talk about because that kind of goes back to what I forget his name, the dad said in there the other day about his son doing that one gig and he didn't have any good Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And he was doing all of the streaming stuff and he couldn't get to his music. You know, so with that, if he's using Beat Source or Beatport, he could actually download, I think it's
100 songs,
like 100 songs, I think it is, off and have them downloaded for offline support and doesn't have to be on Wi-Fi for those songs to work. But that's only 100 songs. So, you know, depending on how long his gig is, you know, that may not be enough. But, you know, that's still a good feature to have if you're using that and you go into some place where there's not any good internet that you can use.
Yeah, and then just for the fact of that, you just go in and just load up 100, then turn it off.
Right.
So it won't fail on you while you're trying to use it live.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's the only feature that they've implemented in here.
For the streaming, yeah. For this particular update, it's just for a Beat Source and Beatport. I don't think you could do that with Tidal.
Nah. And I guess that's an option that'll come up once you're using that on your account.
Yeah. I mean, and Beat Source and Beatport are actually really good services. I used the trial of Beatport. I haven't tried Beat Source just yet. I'm actually trying to give them a little more time to kind of get their libraries up because I think once I try it, I'll probably keep Beat Source for a little while. But it's they're starting to actually get some deals with some of the labels so that they can have intro tracks or intro edits of some of the tracks on Beat Source. So it's going to be more like a streaming DJ pool, you know, which is kind of what they're striving to be. So they're getting closer to being that once they really start to get the amount of intro tracks available. There's some that's already on there. I think I was gonna say Warner Brothers, but Busta Rhymes ain't no Warner no more. Whatever label distributor Busta Rhymes is under, because I've noticed that a couple of his songs had some intro edits on there from his most recent album. So They I think it was Empire, I think is what it is. They doing some stuff with them. So they said it's more about the deals with the labels. They got to get permission to be able to make those edits.
Yeah, I just got some new stuff from him for the record pool this week. It was him and Ron Isley.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I want to ask you about that. So
Elektra anymore?
Nah, he's indie now. Nah, he left Elektra a long time ago. He went from Elektra to he was on J Records for a while, and he had a label deal for Flip Mode over there, and then he left there and went to Cash Money, and from Cash Money to Aftermath, and then from Aftermath, I think he just been independent since then. But Eric, I wanted to ask you about the pool. So I know you telling me that the Japanese version is the one that got all of the drum and bass. Yep. But if I sign up for the Japanese version, I don't get access to all the hip hop stuff that the US version has, right?
Right.
So I'd have to have both to get all the stuff. Okay, that's what I think.
I'm sorry.
It's like you know what? It's just like Beatport and B-Source. Like I was basically yelling in the Twitch chat on Pioneer DJ stream one night. They do this happy hour thing, and they had somebody from Beatport and B-Source there, and they're like, if you got any questions for them, throw them in the chat. And I was like, yeah. Why are they two separate services that are owned by the same company? Put them together as one thing, make the library one, and give me one subscription, or at least give me a bundle deal where I could pay one subscription and have both. And they said that it was probably like licensing or something that's keeping them from doing that. But they are looking into possibly having a bundle pricing deal. And I was like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Do they operate out of two different regions?
No. Not to my knowledge. It's all one company. It's just that Beatport existed and has changed ownership a couple of times. And now the company that owns that, then they started BeatSource. And instead of integrating it, because when they did that, there used to be more hip hop on Beatport. And now when you look up hip hop or rap, it's all like EDM trap stuff.
Yeah, I get that too.
Because all of that stuff got moved over to BeatSource.
Okay, I got to turn it off.
But it all used to be together because it was only one site.
I am actually drilling down through my network to find out where the heck am I. I like this. Yeah, but those guys in Japan, they love D&B.
Oh yeah, look, that's one genre that is super low key. Like you'd be surprised at who loves the genre. I'm still trying to actually find out if this is true, but apparently Jessica Alba, the actress, is a huge D&B head. And she's made like some Twitter posts about it apparently, and apparently she like hangs out at like LA drum and bass events and stuff like that. So I mean, it's something that's really low key. A lot of people, when they hear it, they love it. And even if they don't know, like even when I first got into it, I didn't know what I was listening to. I just knew I was listening to some form of dance music. But every dance compilation that I heard, it would have like some techno, some house, and then it'd be some jungle on there. And it always ended up being the jungle tunes that I would gravitate towards. And then eventually I found out there was a difference and what the difference was. And it's like, oh, this is the stuff that you like. There's subgenres. Right. And this is the one that you like. So once people start to figure that out, then, you know, they're into it. I mean, David Bowie was a huge drum and bass head too. A lot of people don't know. I think actually he made a drum and bass album or experimented with it or something. I forget the story on that. But I mean, it's huge everywhere. And I mean, Brazil, Japan, like you said, like it's big. It's got it started in the UK and just went from there.
UK has something happening out there now called Funky Garage.
Oh yeah, Garage, yeah.
Funky Garage. It's almost like, it sounds like New Jack, a housey New Jack swing.
Interesting.
Yeah. With the on the snares, like the New Jack swing type, but it's house. It's up there. It's like 128 to 132 beats per minute.
That's in the Japanese pool.
That's in the Japanese pool too. No,
okay.
I hold that for myself.
Stingy.
Stop being stingy, people.
Stingy. Okay, so what's your pricing scheme between the two?
Dude, the U.S. pool is $21 a month. I'm not sure how much the Japanese pool translates in yen, but I can get that to you. I can get that information. Okay. But the U.S. pool, you get urban exclusives. Exclusives might be like new R&B to old remixes or old rehashes. I get two categories of house where I try to give at least 300 MP3s per category, which is electro, deep, soulful, progressive. What else? There's a few other versions, and I do grab bag, which is a category that's like different companies send me the record, the MP3s, and I don't have enough time to be going to fucking 1,000, 2,000 MP3s every week to categorize it. Right. So I just put it in the grab bag. Okay. And reggae. I do reggae too. Reggae rhythms, reggae and soca rhythms. You get at least 50 MP3s a week. Okay. Yeah. So that's for the US pool. The Japanese pool, they get at least over 1,000 MP3s a week in trance, techno, tech house, minimal, drum and bass, chill out house, and there's other like techno categories like melodic techno and stuff like that. But they get over 1,000 a week. Okay. So that's like 4,000 MP3 files. I ain't got enough time to be going through all this shit.
It's your job, man.
No, it ain't. That's their job. That's the DJ's job. That's what a record pool is about, dude. What I tell people, you know what a record pool is? It's like you jumping into a pool. You don't know what water you're going to get ready to jump into. You got to figure out what side of the pool you like swimming in.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true, and it don't matter what pool you go into. There's going to be all these different genres. I mean, things are separated in the genres, but you know, once you go in there, the songs are in there. You just got to grab what you want, because you may not want everything that's in there.
Correct.
In fact, it's rare that you would want everything that's in there. So,
correct, and that's how I learned how record pools run from the guy that showed me who pretty much had the record pool into my lap, Bobby Davis Jr. He started show record pool in 1976. 76 or 78? 78. I'll go with 78. And it's been going ever since. He passed away like 10 years ago. I've been running for 10 years now. So there's somebody on top of me, but he doesn't do shit. you know how that is.
Yeah. Yes, I do. All too well. Ken over there cooking up something.
Yeah, I'm about to start. There are really no other than, well, like you said, there's no other changes in 2.5 other than if you have Big Sur or the M1, and that's for Mac. Other than that, hardware support for phase to make it where you're using USB versus RC, and that one specific controller, the what was it, the reloop something, reloop ready.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah.
hardware being added. There hasn't been nothing changed. I know they said something about the expansion pack. Oh yeah, and the
it's a new window for seeing and to manage
Breaking up.
your
Breaking up.
expansion license.
You are breaking up.
and that's when
Me?
okay, they made it a little different. It looks a lot. Let me share the
You
screen.
are breaking up.
Who's breaking up? Me? They just changed the panel for the expansion.
Yeah.
Looks a lot different now than what it did before. Now, Eric, you said somebody was breaking up. Who's breaking up, me or you? Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, he said somebody was breaking up. Was it him or was he talking about me?
I have no idea who he's talking about.
It must have been him.
Everything is fine on my end.
He's up working on something now. But I guess this is the only, they changed the panel, the expansion panel, because it looks a lot different than what it did in the last video I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I actually watched the video last night about the update, and they mentioned that that they changed how you access the expansion packs. There's a expansion button. So like how you went into, did you click on the settings to get to this?
I went here.
Okay, yeah, that's what they said. They added that button to get to the expansion.
Okay, play. Effects, take your time, flip, yes, still 169, video, Pro, still haven't no videos on that. I want to try Studio. I just don't like the fact that it's a monthly subscription type of service.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of companies are
I
doing
agree.
that now.
I played with it when it was in beta. It's pretty decent. It reminded me too much of Fruity Loops in the way that the workflow is designed, and I don't really care for Fruity Loops, so I didn't really get into it. I'll stick to Ableton.
And they don't have too much of bundles. Got everything except for I got everything.
I will say this, and I hope they either have or will incorporate into Serato DJ that they have in Serato Studio, which from what their explanation is that Serato Studio is really good when it analyzes the song just like Serato DJ does. It does it better. So when you have those songs with that live instrumentation, live drummers, and the drums, nothing's quantized, everything is off time, it figures that out and sets the beat grid appropriately. And the upside of Serato Studio doing that is that it, in relation to being a DJ, is that it saves that data to the MP3 just like Serato DJ does. So when you go back into Serato DJ and open that same song up, the beat grids are still lined up the same way that Serato Studio set them up. So your grids are correct.
Yes,
but for whatever reason, so I was like, well, if you made Serato Studio do that well, then why don't you update Serato DJ to do it? And they've never mentioned whether they've actually done it or not. But
the simple, what is it? The simple sync or what was it? It was one of the is it just,
well, you need to turn on simple sync for the beat grids to even show up.
Yeah.
because if you turn the sync off, they don't show.
Well, you got to
But
have
when you analyze it, though, sometimes it doesn't know how to figure out, like it'll figure out the tempo, and your tempo actually may be correct or close to correct, but the grids will drift off of the actual bars because of the live drummer and their human error.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Serato Studio is able to actually figure that out and keep it in time, so that when you're actually remixing it or redrumming or whatever it is you're doing to the track, that everything stays lined up like you want it to. You don't have to sit there and shift things. But I don't know if they ever implemented whatever algorithm they use to make that work that way in Serato Studio. They've never said whether they have or will add that to Serato DJ, which you would think that they would, but I don't know if they have or not. I thought it was weird that they mentioned that Studio did it and Serato DJ doesn't do it as good.
This is how I would see that they need to do that. They would need to go back and redo the analyze in Serato DJ.
Right.
In Serato DJ or Pro or whatever, when you analyze it, that first step that it does, and I probably need to disconnect something. That first step that it does, it reads the track. That second middle step is where it does most of the work, and that's probably what takes the longest. It does BPM, it BPM key, and it does the beat grid. Now, when it's doing the beat grid there, they would have to go in and make it more detailed. Now, what it does in what's the program again? Studio. What it does in Studio is more defined and detailed because it's a separate program, and you're using it as a standalone to where it's just analyzing that one specific track that you're working on compared to several hundred or 1,000 at one time. So when it does that, it's analyzing it more detailed than what it would in the program. And what they would have to do in Serato DJ is take that and incorporate it into Serato DJ, which I don't know how difficult that may be. You got
right, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they did it or not, and because they mentioned that that's how it worked, that it was able to actually do that, and they actually even showed it in the video, which is why he mentioned that it does that. So, I figure eventually, I mean, because like what you were saying about, whether, it can do that because it's only doing one song at a time in studio versus DJ doing multiple files at once. I mean, that would be acceptable if it was a human person actually having to go through it and do it themselves, and you got to do one song at a time. You can't do multiples, but we're talking about a computer here. It can handle multiple things doing the same thing at the same time. So they should be able to update that algorithm. Now, like you said, there might be a hurdle with integrating that into existing software. It may be written a different way, but I think the whole purpose of Serato Studio is for it to be designed in a very similar way to Serato DJ, so that it's easy for people that are DJs but don't produce but want to get into production to be able to transition over to a piece of software, to a DAW that actually feels familiar and makes sense. So, because I mean, it does read your Serato library like right out of the gate. Like it knows exactly whatever you got in Serato. When you open it up, it all shows all your tracks in there, all your crates, everything. So, I mean, they're definitely integrated together in some capacity anyway.
Now, let me ask you this. Would you want it if that was possible to do? And this is the hurdle that I would see if what you was asking for, if they would implement it. Would you want it to where when it analyzed, each track would take even longer, because it would also have to not only create a beat grid but create it accurately, which means it would take a long time for that little step.
Yeah, But because if you talking about it's going to take an extra few seconds for it to analyze these grids and make them perfect versus it getting close, and then I still got to go back manually through each one of those songs and correct it. Yeah, I'd rather wait a few more seconds.
Houston got a problem. I turned off my 62 and rain 12s and it crashed.
There you go.
So when you turn it off, it shuts down. I'll see if it'll happen again. But I'm gonna pull up and do an analyze so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, because
I know what you mean. That middle, it's like 3 sections. One will go fast, and then the middle is slow, and then the last one will shoot by, and then it'll pull up the next song. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been, like I said, I've been on Serato since Scratch Live 1.2. So yeah, I've seen quite a few things that the software does. And I know exactly what you mean. It'll just be a few extra seconds. That's worth it.
That was right.
Definitely worth it.
Because that would be the problem that I would see, especially if people went and they'll update it to analyze to where it does accurate beat grids. Let me reanalyze my whole library, and where it may take, somebody may start analyzing overnight, and it'll be done in the morning when they start at night and wake up in the morning. It's still analyzing because it's taking longer to complete that step. And it may be just the fact that when it gets to like live performances to where the quantize or the beat grid is like off, it says, okay, wait, we're gonna have to take a little bit longer on this one because we have to make sure everything is tight.
Well, in a perfect and logical world, those people would actually know that they only that they would only need to analyze the songs that have live instrumentation and not your entire library. But we know that there's going to be people that's going to analyze their whole library anyway. So, you reap what you sow. As far as I'm concerned, I'd rather have the thing take longer and make the thing more accurate than, because it throws you off when you have one song that actually has accurate beat grids, and then you have another song, and this is whether you sync or not. When you have one that has an accurate beat grid, and you have another one where it's slightly off, when you're looking at the BPMs that the song is telling you you're in, they're not correct with each other. The one that has the accurate beat grid is right, but the other one is like a beat and a half off or something like that. And so you're sitting there and you match them up and you look and you're like, well, wait a minute. Why do I keep having to nudge this one if they're running at the same tempo? But they're not, because your grid is off.
Don't trust computers, trust humans.
True. But you can, it's all in what we were talking about before, and embracing the technology and using it to be able to do your job quicker.
I like the looping features. I like the sample features.
And it helps with looping.
Yeah, I like the phase features. The extended EQ features that you have with controllers. Because back in the day when I used to really do this real big with this type of effects that I have now, it was like 3 or 4 different boxes, and it was a big ass fucking DJ booth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Crates and crates, not even crates. It was shit was built. There was shelves that were built in the booth with records and shit. So so everything is now so compact. I used to have it was a Roland, I think it was called an Echoplex. It had a tape going around it, and that was the echo. So I used to run that through the music, and I used to echo the music like that. So I would throw the echo up and throw the volume down, and with echo, it's bring the music back up. But this was different boxes. This was with different boxes built in. I had a Roland keyboard. It was called organ and wings, or violin and organ keyboard. There was only two sounds it could play. So I learned how to play the notes for Planet Rock. I used to throw that shit on everything. I used to throw those notes on everything. Oh, bonk.
I probably would have too.
Bonk. Yeah, good days. Can't have that fun anymore. Too many guns. Too much COVID.
Man, I heard this dude talking crazy about the vaccines earlier. I was just like, I had to shake my head and keep it moving.
I got the J&J. I got the J&J like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, he was talking some other nonsense I won't even get into. It was sad. There's a sketch, I think Saturday before last on Saturday Night Live, where it was supposed to be like a game show where a guy that was a doctor, medical doctor, he was the host, and he had 4 family members were the contestants. And the only question that he asked them, it was like, for $500 cash right now, will you take the vaccine?
I remember that one.
It was hilarious. They was like, nah. He's like, I'll give you the cash right now. No strings attached. If you take
Were they white or black? Were they white or black?
It was
they was black. Everybody's black. It's like, nah.
Nah.
It was hilarious.
I'm gonna wait.
Man. Yeah, watch that, man. Watch that skit. That joint was hilarious.
I was like that for a few. I was like that. I'm gonna wait because the wife had got vaccinated before I did, so I was like that for a few. And I was like,
look,
you know what?
my wife is a respiratory therapist. She was hesitant as well. They were offering. They got like early chance to get it. Like, you know, being frontline workers and everything, they was one of the first ones to be able to get it. And she was like, nah, I think I'm gonna wait a little bit.
I'm gonna wait.
You know, and they do that in the sketch. They was like, why won't you take the vaccine? She was like, Tuskegee, and they were like, okay, you got a point. But that's what they say.
I was there.
Wego Modem, Momo, whatever that name is. Yeah, I got it saved.
Yeah, that one was hilarious.
Because there's not that many features. I'm finna get out of Serato now, and
you install. I saw you had mentioned something about OBS. You installed the beta.
There's another candidate out now, but it's just fixes and stuff. That's what I was looking at when you said I was working on something earlier. I was looking at it on screen, so I could see, because when I restarted, when I dropped off screen, I had to restart in order to open Serato. So it said that I had to restart. So while y'all was talking, I went and dropped off and restarted the computer. So then when I opened OBS back up, then it came up that there was a release candidate, and it's release candidate 2.0. And I was looking at it, but everything is mostly fixes. The same initial changes that was made in the first one are still there. There's just a lot of fixes, and I was just gonna mention the main 3 features that's changed. And let me go ahead and I had been mentioning this. I'm like, man, they need to put this in here like quick, because I get tired of making scenes and sources and stuff and moving stuff around, and stuff happen. So Let me.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Because right now, about to talk about OBS, this new version, and it is right here. And one of the changes, and this is the most important change out of the whole thing that I would tell people to go ahead and get it for, is that they finally did undo and a redo. So like,
and
say,
the thing that's funniest to me,
shift it off like this, which often happens. I can go to edit and do undo, and it'll put it back to where it is. Now, you know, everything from like word processing programs, everything has an undo and a redo. They never did implement an undo and a redo here. So
yeah,
I don't know who's the one that pushed the button and said, okay, I'm gonna work on this task and I'm gonna put this in 27. But thank you. I thank you, because I don't know how many times I've clicked on the wrong. If I didn't click and highlight something down here, I may have just clicked on something here and moved it, and it may have been centered or positioned in a certain place, and I'm all off screen. Now I can just go and hit Control Z, and it pops back into place.
I did it this morning. So yeah, it's an absolutely welcome feature, and it's funny that, like, I was telling my wife about it, and I was like, they added an undo to OBS, and she kind of looked at me like, so I was like, you don't understand. You don't understand. Anybody that used OBS for a while understands we needed undo, and we needed it badly. And this is a huge deal that it's got undo. And she was like, well, no, I get it. I guess if you ain't had it for a long time, you needed it. But
yeah, you let her go and tell her to create something, but then don't tell her that what she has highlighted, if she moves it, she can't get it.
Oh, she figured it out.
Exactly.
She figured it out. She understood, because I told her, I said we needed it. It's just funny to me how, like, that video I sent you about it. When I saw that video, you watch the video, the first thing he does before his opening, he comes up, he's like, oh my God, OBS has undo, and he's just playing with the undo and the redo back and forth. And then I put it into our the Atlanta DJ Collective group chat, and I was like, yo, OBS got some new features. And one of the dude was like, holy shit, it's got undo. And then I sent it to you, and you was like, they added undo? Like, it was hilarious. So I was like, everybody is like, damn, the other features, it's got undo.
Like, the two other features, I haven't even tried the other one yet, which was something in the transform. It's right here. Show transition. Yeah. You could do, and I don't know if I could do it like how he did it. I think I don't.
Now hold up. Don't skip. Go talk about the second feature. Because I want to say because that second feature and the third feature together, I just saw somebody use it in a really dope way. So I want you to explain it first, and then I'll tell you what the way that they used it, how dope it was.
What you mean, the transition part, or you mean the other feature?
The stinger transition.
This one.
Yeah. The mask.
I'm trying to remember how you did it. I looked at it.
I think it's that check box.
That
box right there in the middle. Yeah, I think it's that. And then that drop down box, I think you got to choose one of the options in there to get it to give you the option. I think it's the last one.
Crossfade.
No, not that box. That's the wrong box.
Yeah, he had something.
Not that one. Up one.
I'm changing
well,
it back. because it wasn't on crossfade. It was on. Well, let me change it back to default. Default, and go there. Yeah, it was on fade. Let me see.
But yeah, that. But basically, you can add a. Yeah, it was like fire
that went across.
Right.
But he had an image that did that, so I don't have that because he went into here.
Yeah, you have to add the singer in there. Yeah, you have to show the video to really show how that works. But okay, so then go on to the third thing, and then I'll explain.
I remember the third. But was that the one that he said?
The one you was getting ready to talk about the scene transit. I mean the source transition.
Source transition.
The thing that you was looking in the transform menu.
Okay. What? No, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
So essentially, what the two things do. The second one will let you use a mask to be able to hide part of one of the scenes as it transitions over to the other one. And then with the show transition, you can actually add a transition like a fade or a swipe or a slide or a stinger, whatever you want, to an individual source in OBS. So now what I saw, I was watching Kevin Smith, the director. I was watching his podcast last night. And so him and his co-host, they're in boxes on the screen, but the guy that actually is running the stream for them, every so often he'll pop in. And usually when he pops in to, say something to them, he just clicks himself and he just boom, like just a sudden shock up here pops up on the screen. Well, I'm guessing he must have updated to the beta, because last night when he popped in, there was like the smoke appeared and then he just appeared like a genie. And then he would talk, and then when he disappeared, smoke appeared and he was gone, like a genie disappearing. It was a super cool effect to have him come on the screen and go off the screen. So you can really just like run wild with the possibilities of what you can do with that option. You can do lower thirds. So like how on the news, when a name comes out, or a bar comes out on the screen and it shows the person's name and their position or their, the title of whatever the news report is, kind of shows up on the screen, and then it can slide back out. You can do that in OBS without any additional plugins, just built right into the software. Like there's just all kind of possibilities of what you could do.
See if I can try.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with 1/3 for the last 2 weeks, I guess.
I've been using there's a plugin. I've been using the plugin, and I actually created a video just using the plugin. I don't know if I can switch. I don't even know where I have it saved now. Nope, this is not it. Oh, and here's the other thing too. If you have plugins and images and whatever, when you change your scenes, if they're not loaded, if it doesn't sense them, then
the missing files.
So say for instance, if you transfer a scene from a different computer to this one, then it would also show you what else you need to transition. Like this image is not available for here, so I have to find it. So this is basically like the what is it called, the relocate in Serato, when you move a track.
Mm-hmm.
When you move a track to a different location and it can't find it, and you have to hit that button in order to find it. This is the same thing, but you have to do more of a manual search here. But it will tell you what's missing. Like there's a countdown timer that's missing, and the brick wall. And I think what happened was I probably renamed it, and that's why That's why it's missing. And it will ask you that for each type of scene selections that you may make. And okay, there. Like this one, this is the brick wall, so I'm missing the brick wall for this one. And I usually make a lot of, this is the one that I use for the pandemic. And I think there's stuff missing. The background, the vinyl wall. So I have to go and find all that before I get ready to use it. Because it's probably saved in a different location. But I haven't really played with just the undo feature was enough for me. I really wouldn't worry about nothing else, just the undo. Because at one point I had stopped messing with OBS and stopped creating more elaborate stuff because I would just be hurry up and moving stuff around or whatever. Then I move something and it'll be out of frame or it won't be in the position that I want it in. So I had just stopped doing it, but now I've started back playing with it a little bit more. And let me see if I can try to get this one to do that transition. Swipe.
So try to put it on like a swipe or a slide or something.
Let's see, swipe left. Oh, opposite base. Need to swipe right. Okay, swipe in. All right, let's see.
And then do a hide. You could do the hide transition too. So when you turn it off, it'll have a transition for that too. Okay, looks like it might automatically set both of them to the same thing.
Okay, now where you need to go to activate it, or do I need to do like a hot
turn? Just turn it off. Just turn off that layer.
That's right. Turn it. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nope. There it is. Let me take it off.
You didn't. So you do have to set the hide because you don't have it set on the hide transition. But just think about how you could have that set up to make your social media show every so often in your stream, or whatever you want.
And that's your lower third. Got it, Eric?
That's simple.
I'll figure it out. Yep.
You want me to do it again?
No, it's all right. I got it. If it's just a filter, right?
The more I practice it, the better, and the more ideas I come up with. Now I just came off off what something Steven said. I'm like, okay, let me try that. Let me try that lower third. Let me see if I can remember how to do that. And I only watched the video one time, but I had forgot about that's how you activate it.
The best thing about it that I see so far, it takes up less screen space than lower third. Lower third, you have that whole box that you have to move around with all.
You create that. Create that as a. Create that as a scene. Create that as a what's it called?
Yeah, you can make the whole lower third. You could design the whole thing as a scene, and then you can add that scene to another scene.
Yeah, you could do
and then add the transitions onto that. So like if you want like a certain background and the logo to appear and everything, and then a certain text to come up, you can make that all one thing, and then as one scene, and then add that scene to another scene. So when you want that to appear, you hit the little eye, and then it'll swipe onto on the screen, and then you hit it again, and it'll fly off the screen again.
I think
there's a lot of potential for what it could be. It's one of those. The only limits are your creativity.
Yeah.
And take this and put that. Oh, wait a minute.
And that's your text.
Wait. Yeah, I'm moving the wrong thing. I need to do text. There we go. I guess the best way to do this is group it.
Or yeah, you could do it that way too. Instead of having a whole separate scene, you could just group them together.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna be using it in multiple places. Yeah, let's see. I may have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to set the transition on the group.
Wait. Yeah, and make sure. Right. And yep, there we go. Simple as that. And you can layer more stuff. But I would say whatever you're doing, especially if you planning on using say like this different type of lower third in multiple places or with various stuff, is just create a group and make a copy of it. That way you won't have to redo everything over again. So like this one, I named this one LT. If I wanted to add it to maybe
that goes for Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, famous New York Jet guy quarterback. Lawrence Taylor. LT. I think he got that copyrighted. You can't use that name unless you gotta go through him.
But as for the lower thirds, there is a plug-in, and I used it in a couple videos just to make stuff pop up on the screen. Like I did the intro before I started the show, mentioning that that I was going to do open discussion. Usually, what I would do, and I didn't have a lot of time to do it, I would use the lower thirds to where I would hit certain keys and stuff will pop up. Like, say for instance, like the banner that I have right now with the OBS version 27 and the Serato, I would have had that to come up at the points that I mentioned it. So I could actually do all this stuff in OBS instead of doing it in StreamYard. So let's see what happens. Yeah, I just need to reposition the name. So I guess about right there. And you said this is what he did. He did this with oh, okay. I think now since I'm familiar with using it. Let's see. Yeah, he added some stuff. And he did the stingers. Yeah, it was a video file. I need to download some stingers to do that. I don't know. I may try that. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna download some and I'll send y'all a little clip as for what I do. I may that one what you mentioned where he pops in and pops out. I may do that and start implementing that in some stuff that I do. But that's, I mean, a lot. There's other stuff, but the undo is the thing that everybody keeps talking about. This right here would be probably second. What else? There was something else. Okay, the track mat. Okay, that's incorporated with that. The track mat stingers, the stinger feature, which is in the hide and show transitions. That will probably be, I think that was like the third thing that he mentioned. But a lot of the stuff is like, I don't know, minor stuff. Let me pull this up. Let me unshare this. That this is the first candidate, and the second, all they just did was fix tweaks. Wait, there's some. Oh no, I don't know. They got some new stuff listed here, but I don't know if there's anything newer than the first one. Let's see. There's the undo. That's the undo, and the person that created it. Add a new capture. Oh, I did see this. Add a new capture method for display capture. And let's see what that is. Allow the ability to capture display cross GPU.
Oh yeah, it would be a lot of times where you would try to do a display capture with like certain games or something, and instead of showing you the game, it would give you just a black screen. So I guess this fixes that bug.
Okay, so that was a fix for that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Fix is black screen issues on laptops in particular. All right. Users who have previously switched the default GPU to integrated, it's recommended to remove the override and instead use the new toggle in the display capture. So that's something that will also be here. That's not it. I guess this wouldn't apply to me because I don't have that. Next one, add a missing file. Okay, that one is already there. That was what I showed earlier. If you change whenever you change your scenes, that is this right here. When you get this menu. And I don't know, do y'all use the scene selection? Do you create different scenes, or you try to create, you just keep everything the same and just change your sources?
It depends on what I'm actually trying to do. Like typically what I'm doing now is I'll create one scene with the things that I want to have showing on all of my scenes. So I'll have one scene that has the input for my music, the input for my mic, any overlays, alerts, anything like that, all of that stuff, my logo, social media, anything that I want to have displayed and always be in the same place on every scene. I'll add all of that. And then I'll take that scene and add it to a new one, and then add my camera and anything special to that one particular scene. And then make a new scene and add that first scene, and then anything special to this new scene, and so on and so forth. So like I got 3 cameras, so I would have at least 3 scenes, or at least 4 scenes, one with everything, all the main stuff in it, and that one is added to the other 3 scenes. And then those other 3 scenes individually are different because each one of those has a different camera. And then kind of go from there. So that's the way I've been kind of doing it lately to make it a little bit neater.
All right. Oh, wait, I just forgot about something. A lot of this is not going to apply because I'm still running 2.7 2.00, and this one I think it's 2. This is I haven't updated to this one yet. I'm still on this first one. But I see a lot of the stuff is the same. But what was the next one? Also allow bulk updates when folders have been moved, such as between computers. So I guess whenever you're moving around, bulk updates. What does that mean, bulk updates? Because I'm thinking if you're moving around, if you're moving your plugins and your scripts to another computer, so you can have the same duplicate on that computer, that it does that. But I don't know. I may be wrong about that. I'm not for sure. I may have to update to this version when we finish to see what these changes are. Let's see. Third-party plugins will need to add support for this capability manually. Okay, that's something with with plugins. Or so I guess that means that you will have to do something manually. But mostly when you do plugins anyway, nothing is manual. From what I've experienced, I've had to like move files and redirect it to specific folders instead of just.
Well, I think what they're saying is that the people whatever company makes the third-party plugin, that they have to add support.
Okay.
To that particular plugin, I think that's what they're saying.
Add source visibility transition, which allows you to set a transition of a source while showing or hiding it. Okay, that's what we just did. Okay, yep, transition of a source while hiding it. All right, add service integration and browser dock support to Mac OS and Linux. I'll need to put that on there for that. I need to check that out on the there. Add support for Wayland on Linux. This includes new pipe wire capture source when using Wayland for Ubuntu users 20.10 or newer, and requires pipe wire capture. So are you familiar with that? Because I'm still kind of new to Linux.
Yeah, I'm not in Linux too often, so
okay.
I can't say that I am.
I haven't messed around in a few years. I was thinking about getting back into it, but
add support
for who has how many hours in a day?
Okay, this reminds me. Okay, after I finish these last three, I need to show you the technique that I was trying to tell you, Eric, if you haven't did already. So this is a plugin, and that's why I want to mention you about. All right, the next one, add a track mat mode to Stinger transitions with support scenes mask to display parts of previous and current scenes at the same time. And I think that was the Stinger feature that's in the transition. And then the last one, add support to sRGB color formats, applying color operations in a linear space, which I don't understand.
So you're not going to get down to the part where I helped?
What?
Second line under improvements. Media sources and stingers.
Did you create that one?
No. But I saw my name and I'm taking props. Media sources and stingers now support.
Don't get into the smooth situation now.
I'm stealing mixes. I'm stealing mixes.
I see. Mixes, bug fixes, and tweaks.
I'm stupid. I keep telling you I'm stupid. You should know by now. I'm stupid.
All right, now here's a wait a minute.
Show me what you was gonna show me.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why I have this. Where's my video? Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Because y'all haven't seen me in a while, and I didn't realize that.
Hold up.
I didn't realize that. covered me up.
You put shades on.
All right, now here's the thing that I was telling Eric, and I found this. Now you can go into your sources and you can add audio filters. Like if you go to your audio mixer and click on it, go to filters, you can add audio filters, and you got various ones that you can use. And what Eric was asking me about was he wanted a limiter or a compressor or something, which you can go in here and create. You can add a limiter, but you have to set your threshold and your release, and the same thing with the compressors. Now, this is what I found that works a lot easier. All right, let's say, because I don't have anything, I don't know why this one, I don't know. This is not working. I'm not getting any audio in because I'm using the audio in StreamYard. It's not going through OBS. Only the video is going through OBS. But say for instance, if you're playing music and you're peaking in the red, you hit in the red the whole time. Here's the easiest way to make a limiter out of that. Just take this bar, take your volume and lower it to where it's just constantly, well, not constantly, but every so often it's peaking in the red. It's not living in the red. Move it to that point, go right there and lock it.
I'm good with that.
It can never be changed.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Now,
I'm not in distortion. The problem that I have is when I get on the mic and talk sometime, I might clip the red, I might hit the red, and it goes back down, but then it's ducking down. It's ducking down the music. So I wanted, can I use an expander to make sure it doesn't get down below a certain level? Because I don't have any filters installed yet for the sound. But I'm wondering, do I need? It's doing it like naturally. I haven't said anything, so the sound's coming in. I hit the mic to a certain level. My voice on the mic gets to a certain level, and then it ducks down, and then eventually builds back up until I get to that certain level on the mic again, and then it ducks down. I'm wondering, do I need to put a filter expander in, or
let me ask you this: do you have your mic running through your controller?
Yes.
Or is the ducking is probably coming through your controller.
Okay.
Because that's an option in OBS to actually set it to duck. And if you were doing it that way, then yes, there's an option on there where you can set that threshold of how fast it ducks and how fast it comes back up. But if you haven't gone in there and set that, then it's not OBS that's doing it. It's coming from your controller's ability to have ducking enabled, and there may be a setting to adjust that there.
Oh, the auto ducking. That's
yeah. Controller and a Serato.
Yeah, but now to say something real quick about what you were talking about locking the levels, so that it doesn't peak. That doesn't always work. When you first showed me that, I turned it on and it didn't work. And I think I did it by accident, or maybe it was left on or something, and suddenly it started working. So it doesn't always work, but I mean, it's something that doesn't hurt to turn on, but it doesn't always work. So I wouldn't rely solely on setting that.
It's just you setting the threshold for your volume. So you basically controller or whatever, you're getting it to the volume where you want it. Because then say for instance, if you accidentally turn knobs on your controller, and that's what I did when I played with it, I turned my gains and my volumes all the way up, and it didn't go over with that limit that I set it. Now you may have to set your volume, your gains or whatever on your mixer, your controller. Like if you want everything at 12 o'clock, and when you don't go over, when you go over 12 o'clock, it stays right there. Then you want to set that bar to that point and then just turn it off. So you basically all you just doing, you just setting the audio on the audio mixer, and then you turn it off so you won't accidentally change it. But whatever you control, and this is just only for that channel. Now, say if you got another channel, if you have your mic and your music on different channels, then you have to do the same for your mic too. Because if you just do your audio would never go over. Your audio would stop right there. But if you're doing your mic and you don't have it for your mic is going to go over every time. So that was just a simple feature, and I played with it where I turned everything to like 10, because on the 62 I used the audio for OBS, and I have it set to 12 o'clock to where it just taps into the red. And so I turn it to like 3 o'clock, I turn it to 5 or 6, and it still just taps right there. It never goes like into all the way over into the red. And another thing that I do is when I change my settings, and hold on, let me drop out of this, go back to the OBS again.
Before you dig too much deeper, I just want to say with all of what you just explained, I know exactly what you meant. It doesn't always work. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it just does not. It like I said it. After, like I said, after you showed that to me, I was shocked because you showed me you were turning it up and the volume, it was not going past where you said it, and I was shocked that that actually worked because I knew you could lock it, but I didn't know that it would keep it from peaking past that point. And the next day I tried it and I locked it, and then I purposely turned it up and it went past where I locked it. But then one day it was locked. I didn't recall it being locked, but it was locked, and it was doing exactly what yours did. It wouldn't go past a certain point. So
but then
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, which is how OBS typically is. It does what it wants to do sometimes.
But when it was over, did you hear distortion?
Nope.
I didn't, because I don't let mine get that loud. Like I keep OBS from actually my music from actually hitting the red in OBS.
Okay.
So no matter how high I go on my mixer, if I have a song that is peaking a little bit too much and I didn't catch it, it still won't distort in OBS.
Now I think this is the option that you was talking about right here about auto ducking.
No, the filters. So if you have well, I mean that's just talking about the Windows audio. I'm talking about like, so if you have an actual audio input source that's added into OBS, and then the same way you can add video filters to a video source or image, you can add audio filters. And there is an option in there where you can actually set the set ducking on it. Let me actually pull it up. I'm sitting in front of this machine now.
Where is it?
So yeah, so you add a compressor.
All right, under the filters compressor or audio something. I saw it.
So just like how you added the audio input capture. All right, now go to filters.
Filters, yeah. Filters, yeah. I saw that.
All right, now when you hit the plus, add a compressor.
Yeah.
Compressor. Yeah. All right, see that last drop box?
The side duck.
Yeah. So you're gonna set. So if basically if you want to have the same kind of functionality of ducking that you get out of like your mixer or your controller, you would set that to your mic, so that anytime you're talking to the mic, it'll make the music duck.
Yeah, it would make that source that you select. Of course, you wouldn't want to select the same source that you created in your audio input. You would select like right here. I would want my mic either.
Right. You want the one that you put in that box is going to be the thing that's going to be the trigger. And then the one that you're adding the filter on is the one you actually want to the level to go down on. So you want the music to go down when you talk. So you're going to add the filter on the music, but add the ducking source is going to be your mic.
And
your mic triggers the music to duck.
The thing that you're going to have to do besides that is you're going to have to make sure that all these
you got to play with that
before that ducking sounds good, because you can have it to where if your attack is too soon, if you adjust your attack up, then your audio is going to clip in the beginning. Your release is going to clip at the end. So you want to make sure that those are set. Your output gain is just going to add more gain. You want to make sure that it's set to where it's not. It will also clip in the red, even if you had your output gain up, but it will.
You leave the output gain on 0. I wouldn't even mess with that one.
Be the main thing that's gonna need to be like make sure that it's on point. And I'm still kind of learning how the ratio works, because it's like it's one part to every whatever parts of something else, and the only way that you can get it is that you can understand it is you have to listen to it. You have to listen to it.
You have to listen to it. I've done studio work, so this is not Greek to me. So
there's a Epoch Box did a video on that on using that ducking feature, and he does a great job explaining how each of those options work and where you would want to at least start with setting the levels on each one of those options, so that you can kind of figure out where the best space is for that. But yeah, my ratio is pretty low. The attack is low. The release, I like that. Really, all with those default options that you had, everything except for the output gain is dropped down from where the defaults are. So you're gonna play with that, but I would say search Epoch Box is with EPOSVOX. Search his channel for video on the audio ducking feature, and they can and he breaks it down. Probably the best that I've seen anybody break it down.
All right, so then I would have to put the mic into a different source into OBS. Correct?
No, you're gonna apply. Well, see, for you, because your mic is running through your controller, for you it's gonna be best to deal with the ducking through your controller. Me, I have my music running into a sound card in one channel and my mic running into a separate channel. So both of those are added into OBS separately.
Okay.
So there's two different audio inputs coming into OBS for each of those. And so when I go into OBS, I can add a filter on the input for my music and then set the ducking source on that one to be the mic. So whenever I talk into the mic, it'll trigger the music to duck down.
Okay.
So the only way you're going to get these effects to apply to your mic is that you're going to have to connect your mic to the computer. It's going to have
it's going to have to be a separate input.
As I'm listening to you guys, I'm visualizing it now. Only way I could do it is be like an XLR conversion to a mini plug to the sound card that I'm running OBS on. And that will be the only way I see it. Yep, that will be the only way. And then I have a different source coming into the laptop doing OBS that I can bring up a different source, be line in from the sound card. Yeah, I see how it could be done, but I don't really go through all that bullshit.
It's a good function if, like, for example, my mixer doesn't have a ducking function on it. So in order for me to actually get something like that, having that option in OBS works great for that.
Yeah,
if I wanted to do that.
I have to look into the Serato setting. Or the Alrighty then. Thank you for the information.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see if this is gonna work. Try it.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff in OBS, and you can actually add VSTs into OBS as filters too.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't know that. So if you have a good EQ or a good compressor or something that you like to use, you can add that plug-in into OBS and run that.
All right, now you see how I got it. Now I got my gain sky high. I got it turned all the way at 10. And then I just lock it. And see, it's already at max. So if I turn it down, no matter how high I turn it up, it's not going to go over. Even if I turn everything on, even the EQs, all the EQs are up, everything. And right now I'm messing with the what am I messing? I'm messing with the pan. So you see the pan is going left and right. That's the filter high, filter low. But everything is completely way past 12. Crossfader. And you said you did this and the changes like undid themselves, or
it didn't take. I said it just like you just did it. And I saw absolutely no difference. It was the same as if it hadn't even been locked. But suddenly one day it was locked. I don't know how or why it was locked at that point in time. Maybe I locked it at some point and forgot that I had done it. I don't know. But that particular day I happened to look down and I noticed that it was grayed out when like it is when you lock it. And I was like, why is that locked? And then I happened to notice that the levels weren't exceeding a certain point. And I was like, well, how about that? It's working now. Didn't do that when I tried to do it on purpose. It just randomly did it one day.
All right, now how do your levels do your meter look like this, or it look like how I just had it?
I mean, mine are vertical, but yeah, otherwise it's the same.
Okay, wait, no, let me show you. There's a difference. I have mine set a different way. So let me change it to vertical because I just made a change. And making that change. All right, now right there, you see it's in the red.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have mine because since this computer can handle it, I will change the peak meter type to true. And you see the true looks like it's barely touching. But if I will probably have to, to make those changes, it would be better if I set it in what was this feature? In sample. And I always leave it on fast. Yeah, I always leave it on fast. So I should have set it here. And everything is still all the way up. It's not even doing anything now. Okay, the song went out. Jump back into it. Yeah. It's about right there because that red is going to hold until I stop it. Okay, that's good. And to go back, I'm not going to lock it right now. I'm going to let it stay. Change it. And right there is probably where I want it. If I'm going to use this setting.
Are you using what are you using as your input to get that setting, a steady setting? Is it some type of tone generator?
No, I'm playing something in Serato.
Oh, okay.
I just got
it looks so like even. So I'm thinking it was like some type of tone generator, like
track in Serato. Okay. Hold on, let me put everything back before I start playing the sound again, because right now everything is in the yellow. And I got the speakers muted, so it is still muted. Cut it off, cut it off, cut it off. You see, I can turn it up and pull up. And right now, I'm not using any cables or anything to connect the mixer to the computer. I'm using the internal sound card for Serato. For the Rain. So my input, and I went through. I don't know if you know, some mixers would give you the actual channels. I went in and found out what each channel was, and I labeled it as it was. So if I want to do a mix out, then I would use this right here. If I just want to play the left deck, I would use this one. I would use this one for the right, and there's a few others. This is deck 2 record. I went through and labeled each channel as for what they were, because all they was labeled was let me see, I'm trying to remember. I think it was labeled channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, all the way up to channel 11 and 12. So you didn't know what each one did, but I went through the manual for the Rain 62, and it tells you what each of those channels are. So when I want to do an internal mix without using any cables, then I just click on that one, because that's the main mix. And so that's only using, I think I'm only using one RCA, not RCA, but one USB cable, even though I got both of them plugged in. I'm only using, I think I'm using one, because I got one connected to the PC and then the other one that goes to the Mac. But yeah, that was just a quick limiter tip. I mean, some people may want to go in and do that, but you have others that, and I've heard people that have been hitting in the red, or you can see they're peaking. And then a lot of people like to use, when they're using their mixers and they're using the actual outputs, whether it's the RCA, the quarters, or the XLRs, they like to use the which one? They like to use the booth for the mix for their screen. And I always said, no, use the master, because on your mixer or your controller, you could use the LED VU meters on it to determine if your sound coming out of your device is peaking over. If you use your booth, then you can't do that. And plus, booth is supposed to be whatever you're playing for yourself. You don't want your booth to go out, because you can't monitor it unless you're looking at it in OBS or listening to it in actual stream to tell if it's actually going over or not. And that's stuff I found out trial and error, like when I first started when I first started doing the streaming thing, that using the booth, you have to monitor it more, where I can do my master, and if it's not peaking in the red on my mixer, then I'm good, as long as I'm not peaking in the actual software. Because if you can peak, you can have your your volume set on your mixer, and well, if you don't have anything else in between it, like a line mixer or something else that has a volume control on it, you're good. But then you also need to check to make sure that your volume and your software is not too high. So that's what I did right there when I set that bar, and then I put the lock on it to make sure. Well, I probably wouldn't accidentally touch it, but I set it right there to make sure that it'll never get moved. And then for the video capture audio, that's set to my lapel mic. So no matter, well, it's not connected, but no matter how loud I scream into it, it'll never go over. So I probably wouldn't need a compressor.
I've done a lot of studio work, so I understand the uses of compressors and stuff like that. So yeah, but that's only question I needed answered. I thought that the compression for me was coming through OBS, but now that I know it's coming through the NS7 and Serato, I could look at it from those angles. You know what I mean?
For your NS7?
Yeah. Either the compression is coming from the NS7 or it's coming from Serato, correct? That's what Steve just said. So I have to look at it from those angles instead of looking at it from OBS. It's either
yeah, because
Serato.
he never set it in OBS.
Yeah, so, I haven't set it in OBS.
And his mic is running through his controller. So the ducking that he's got going on has got to be coming from the controller. It can't be coming from OBS.
Yeah, it's coming from the controller. Yeah. Controllers that with a not a big auto ducking feature, but a slight. There's some that have auto ducking in it. Like I think this mixer I got over here has auto ducking in it. I seen it somewhere. I can't remember exactly. This mixer right here comes with auto ducking in it.
That's a Behringer?
Mm-hmm. The 4000, which, like I said, this is a mixer a lot of people slept on as forgetting, because you can MIDI map this. You can MIDI map everything on this mixer except for this section right here. You can MIDI map all this, the faders, all the buttons over here, everything on here. I've even experimented with it and mapped everything on it, just playing around. The only thing I hate is that you can't do the effects, because if you was able to do the effects, man, this would be a damn good mixer to have. Because if you was able to MIDI the effects to where you control Serato effects from it, or even be able to scroll your library and stuff, because it has 3 knobs on there that can serve that function, that would be great. But I don't know if they ever created a feature or
update. Yeah, ROM update or yeah.
Yeah, but the MIDI on it is the old traditional 5-pin MIDI.
Okay.
And all you need is a MIDI to USB cable, which I bought one for like a penny on Amazon. It was the I think the cable was a penny or 10 cents, but the shipping was like $2. And it worked with no problems. But yeah, I think this one, if I remember right, this one has a trying to remember where I'm looking at the mic section now. But I remember I think this one was the only it was either this one or my 57 that had auto ducking that you can go into the control panel to change. I don't know. It may be. Yeah, I think it is. It's the 62 as well. But it's going to be in the control panel to where you can find that feature. So you may want to. I know the new marks. Check in the new mark control panel, Eric, and see if it has that. I don't remember if it has that for the original S7 NS7 that I have, but I remember seeing it. I remember seeing auto ducking somewhere. And I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I'm trying to see. But in the control panel, you do have some settings for the mic. And this one was not it. There was an option that you can click. No. I might want to turn that on. Yeah, but I seen somewhere, and I think it's probably for the 57 that had like a had a little bit more mic that you can change on it.
You know how I can get rid of this problem? Just get me a cheap USB mic. Well, not a cheap one, but a good USB mic.
Yeah.
And then I have a separate input going into OBS.
Yeah.
In USB.
That's the way. Honestly, that's the way to go, to have the two separate inputs. There's something I'm going to do a video on, so I'm not going to tell about it right now. But if you hit me up in my inbox, I'll tell you how to do it, Eric. But you can actually have your, like, if you were to go to my SoundCloud and listen to the mixes from my live streams, you do not hear my microphone, but I do talk during my stream.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Oh yeah. You be talking to people on the side. I saw that.
Yeah.
With You be talking to people on the side. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But you don't hear any of that when you go in and download or stream it off of SoundCloud. You don't hear it.
Okay. Yeah.
Eric, you may want to look at getting one of these.
What's that?
I mean, I don't use it as much. I'm gonna go back to start using it.
The blue snowball.
That's a mic.
Yep, the blue
snowball.
ball.
Yeah.
Snowball. Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty good mics. I got one too.
Look, and I'll be pulling a mic like this in front of me. I'll pull the mic like this in front of me. Look like I got an alien in front of me. I look like I'd be fighting an alien. Get up! Get away! No! God!
What you like to say, Eric?
Sure. No, regular Sure, dude.
Which one?
SM58. Yeah, man. You gotta get your Sure, huh? You gotta be sure.
Only paid $5 for this.
Yeah, good. It's a good mic, ain't it?
This is probably the first field mic I've ever owned.
Yeah.
The only other thing I can tell you is use a condenser mic.
Okay.
And make sure you have it positioned so it won't catch all your feedback.
That snowball, if you get the right model, is the snowball is a condenser, and certain models have, like the one that I've got, has a switch on the back where you can change the pickup pattern.
Okay.
You might as well get that one if you're gonna get one, because they all about the same price, about $50, give or take, at this point. At least last time I looked, after COVID and stuff started getting scarce, the price might have skyrocketed on that too. Oh, I know.
Yeah. Now you trying to break it? You just gave it. Why you trying to break it? Damn kids.
I think I'm gonna take it.
Stop doing that.
Find out what this is.
He goes to the doctor. The doctor says, "Doc, every time I do this, it makes this noise." What does the doctor tell him? Stop doing that. Open it up and find out what's wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm looking to see how many screws I got to take off. I know I'm probably gonna have to take off the top plate, so that's gonna be a lot of knobs and stuff. It's not as easy as pulling off the back or the bottom.
That's your project for Thursday.
Because it's not going to be Wednesday. I'm going to put it
No,
right back.
I said Thursday. Your project for Thursday. Didn't I just say that, Steven?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday. Start right now.
Hey, you don't be listening to me.
All right, gentlemen, about to wrap up. Who wants to sign out first?
I'm out. I gotta go to work in the morning.
We'll let him do it then.
We'll let Eric go first.
Hey, people, I see yo, Steve. Thanks very much. Kenyon, it's always a pleasure. All right. Till next time, y'all be safe out there and y'all stay away from stupid. Peace.
Tell him your Twitch or your Mixcloud when you stream it.
CEEDOGGpresents.com for more mixes. You can get me on Facebook.com or Twitch, DJEricPrince.com or on Mixcloud, DJEricPrince.com, or look up DJ Eric Prince live from Harlem.com, people. And I'm on every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. on Twitch and Mixcloud. So check me out. Peace. Oh, sure. Oh, wow. I got all this information. SureRecordPool.com, people. SureRecordPool.jp. SureRecordPool.com. SureRecordPool.jp. All right? Check it out. Professional DJs, here we go. Killing it.
All right, and you are out, sir. We'll catch you later. All right, Steven, you up next.
All right. You can catch me on Atlanta DJ Collective, which is twitch.tv/Atlanta DJ Collective every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Playing fresh and classic drum and bass every week. And on my own personal channel, which is twitch.tv/subconsciousBSC. That's BSC for Bad Seed Creations. That's my crew. And I play whatever the hell I feel like playing that day. So, and that's random right now. I think I'm gonna start doing Mondays on the schedule, and maybe Fridays at some point later. But right now, that's kind of random. So follow me on there so you can know when I go live. Atlanta DJ Collective is a collective of Atlanta DJs that we all came together to build something together and have a a way of exposing ourselves to different people that otherwise maybe would not have discovered you on you trying to do things independent. So welcome anybody that wants to come check us out, want to participate, want to get a stream in. You could do one-offs, you could do a weekly slot. It's up to you. Come check us out, London DJ Collective on Twitch. You can get us on the socials on Instagram, Facebook. Me myself, you can catch me on Instagram, Facebook, well, Instagram and Facebook, because if you go to any other ones, I'm not gonna really be on there. Either Subconscious BSC or Subs BSC. Yeah, solid.
All right, and as for me, you can catch me every week about around this same time, 9:30 or 10 o'clock, depending on how I'm feeling and what family has scheduled for me to do on Tuesday. Atlanta DJ Zone Tech Tuesday Live. The Kid 007 is my YouTube and also my Instagram, which I didn't realize that I set the same. So make sure y'all check me out. Other than that, I'm on Facebook all the time. The Atlanta DJ Zone group, the Atlanta DJ Swap and Resource, Atlanta DJ Presents, the Green Room, Serato Nation, and Sunday City Ciphers are enough of the groups that I admin as well as personal group. And also be on the lookout. I'm still waiting for Facebook to get my rooms cleared so I can bring the Pandemic Games and Entertainment group back up. So also look out for events coming up from there as well. Glad everybody that has joined in was able to join in with me. If you were catching the stream, I appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, because I got a ton of videos that haven't been done live to Facebook that I will be editing and putting on Facebook. So other than that, y'all make sure you catch me and these guys because they are here. I thank them for supporting me and being here to share and increase the knowledge because I don't know everything. So I'm glad that somebody else can also help out for those times that everything that I think I know, I don't know. So we will catch y'all next week. Atlanta DJ Zone Tech Tuesday Live. This is the Kid. We are out of here. See y'all next week. Peace.